Orange Lounge Radio. With your hosts, Dark Sakura, Sky, and Loki.
This week, Nintendo continues to stir the pot by confirming that new hardware is taking shape. Microsoft's connected withdrawal continues with the announcement of a Kinectless Xbox to be released next month, and the timing is suspicious. The road to E3 continues tonight on the show where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio for this May 18th of 2014, the 553rd episode of our show. My name is Rob Roberts, and I'm joining you over the next few hours to talk about video games, gaming culture, and the gamer lifestyle, and it is a busy show tonight with my co-host. Say hello, first off, to Dark Sakura, or Jamie Summers.
Hi.
How are you, Jamie?
Fibrous.
Wait, Fibrous?
Fibrous.
Fibrous.
I'm eating salad.
Oh, I thought it was
And that and your neighbors are jerks because
Uh-oh.
they don't use their turn signals.
Oh, that's not very cool.
Also, when we hit 555, we need to call that our Preval show.
Our Preval. You know, actually, my car hit 66,666 miles yesterday. I thought of you.
Your car's the devil.
I think it might still be at that in the driveway, actually. We'll see. All right, also joining us, as he is every week, say hello to Techmaster Loki.
Hi.
Hey, Loki, how you doing?
I'm all right.
And I want to say thank you, Loki, for Loki gave me a new HD capture card before the show tonight, so I can do some fun things.
Loaned. Yeah.
Loan. Well, you know, gave me for a little while.
Yeah.
Well, if I like it, I'll buy my own, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It's awesome.
yeah, no, I'm like really appreciative. Well, what's sad is that I bought one a while ago, but it's delayed. It's not very good. I couldn't get it to work.
Don't feel sad. I have like 6 capture cards. I've just not been satisfied with any of them. But this one's actually pretty good.
So I can hopefully do more stuff online and all that. So it'll be good. So thank you for remembering that. I appreciate it. What's the status of your game, real quick?
This week I've been working on an editor for making the ships and because each ship's actually parts of ships. So making all the parts out of my voxel stuff. So that's what I've been working on. And I was working on a copy and paste function today just for the fuck of it. So, but it's pretty much done. I actually put up a new YouTube video last night or Friday. So showing some of that, and I made the ugliest, I don't know, sort of spaceship. It wasn't really a spaceship, but
And what's your YouTube channel if people want to check that out?
just Loki OLR.
And Tiger Claw in our chat room, because, again, we do tape live every Sunday night at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com. And, again, that's Sundays at 6 or 9, depending on what coast you're on, right after the Bobby Blackwell show. Tiger Claw in our chat is asking, what brand of capture card? It's an Elgato, right?
It's an Elgato Game Capture HD, I think.
Right. And I don't remember the one I had. I want to say it was a diamond, and it does not shine bright like a diamond, let me say. I think I shouldn't shade the company when I'm not 100% sure that was it, but yeah. It has little pictures of generic video game characters on it, and that should have been a sign right there. Anyway. All right, also joining us in studio tonight, he pops in for a few months, then pops out for a few months, but luckily we're on an in cycle right now. Say hello to VX, Jason XV, XYZ Element.
My trend of breaking speakers and overly loud audio segments continues tonight, as was evidenced by the intro.
That's all right. It's because you taped it here and not on your to-go.
Yeah, very, very strange just to be, literally everything was different. I used your microphone, I used Windows, I used Audition, and none of these things I have touched in, your microphone never. But.
It's amazing how differently balanced all these mics are, isn't it? So, yeah, we use just a little behind-the-scenes thing. We actually use hand mics here at OLR, which, is kind of frowned upon in the podcast scene, but I'm just not set up, especially in this large space, to have these big honking stationary microphones, and we don't really do the sit-around-a-table thing.
We just need to suspend them all from the roof.
Yeah, sure, my rental home. Suspend them all from the roof. Sounds like a great idea.
The U2 music video from 3 or 4 months ago, I completely forgot what it was called, but when I actually watched it, the swing microphone stand actually looked really amazingly cool.
Last week on the show, Shane was here in studio. We were talking about our trip to Scandia here locally, which actually has just randomly a whole bunch of music-based video games. It's actually a pretty rad arcade, I gotta say. I'm gonna give props where props is due. I felt like arcades were kind of done. I go to Scandia and I'm like, this is rad. I feel like it's 10 years ago all over again. So props. But Jason, you went today. What'd you think?
It's really familiar. You go in and you see modern games laid out with a reasonable amount of space, all things considered, on how big that building actually is.
It is a small arcade.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing to scoff at. But you have all of the cheap redemption on one side and a lot of good modern fun stuff off to the right.
You know what? Sunnyvale Golfland was a huge arcade, and still is a huge arcade. But they did a lot of fighting game tournaments, and a lot of the Bomani stuff really took off there years ago. And that was a really small ass arcade too.
Yeah.
It's probably about the same size as Scandia. Honestly.
I say yeah, as if I've ever been. The only 3 Golflands I've been to are Mesa, Roseville, and now Scandia.
Yeah.
Over the span of 13 years, 12 years.
All right. Well, I will talk a little more. We will talk a little more about those games when we get into How Was Your Gaming Week a little later. But we've got to get to it. There's too much news tonight, and believe it or not, tonight we start with breaking news, which by the time a lot of you guys listen to this, is probably not so breaking, but it's Sunday night, and this is what everybody's talking about right now. Starting off tonight with a report from Variety, and I usually wouldn't talk about news this big if it was coming from like a site that has a bad reputation for rumors like Kotaku or Motley Fool or one of those websites where when I read their articles, my eyes roll to the back of my head so far I can see my brain. But Variety, they don't really. I mean, this is an industry respected mag, especially in the entertainment world. So the fact that they're running with this, I think, lends a lot of credit to this. And the headline reads: YouTube to acquire video game streaming service Twitch for $1 billion. That's billion with a B.
Billion with a Dr. Evil in the 2000s.
Yes. Need I say much more than that headline? That is according to sources familiar, and then a lot of the rest of the report gives background information. They do say that this is the most significant acquisition in the history of YouTube. Google acquired YouTube in 2006 for $1.65 billion. So Twitch only worth a little over half of what YouTube was worth back in 2006, and then no comment, obviously, coming from YouTube or Twitch at this time. I imagine it would be wait till Monday. YouTube, they say, is preparing for U.S. regulators to challenge the deal, according to sources, because YouTube is the #1 platform for internet video, and the Justice Department may take a hard look at antitrust, because if buying Twitch could be those issues in the online video market. And I know in the past I've said on this show, where is our Twitch competitor? Why is nobody stepping up in the way that Twitch has? Like, look, if you had, you might have been bought for $1 billion.
There's live stream.
Well, it doesn't do. They ban gaming, don't they?
They do some gaming. I've gamed on live stream before.
But they don't. I'm like, it's not really like their big focus over there.
No.
And I want to say they have a lot of criteria too.
Yeah.
Like Twitch is really all about kind of the being open and everything, with the live streaming. But the focus is on the game. And I guess you have Ustream, but again, Ustream isn't taken very seriously by a lot of the big gamer circles, and I think a lot of that just has to do with their model and so forth. Ustream supports the Playroom Boobies and Butts channels just fine, but that's pretty much all they do. And I guess there's like Hitbox, there's some others, but none of them have quite that share that Twitch does. So it does raise an interesting question in that regard, but I kind of think it's not going to matter at the end of the day. I think if YouTube wants it, YouTube will get it, and this makes a very logical acquisition. So what do you guys think in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com? I'm curious to see your thoughts in our chat room. Those in studio, what are your thoughts hearing this news, which we've been marinating on for only about 90 minutes?
What Up G actually says, is AT&T buying DirecTV or Comcast Time Warner antitrust?
I was actually going to ask, has there ever actually been an antitrust lawsuit in gaming since the third-party Atari Nintendo dispute back in the, late 70s, early 80s?
I really couldn't say. I don't know that there has been.
Yeah, I can't. It's been a long time coming, but
I don't know
off
off the
not
top
the sort of thing that we deal with that often, that we hear about.
I want to say somebody went after Nintendo over the third-party cartridges. When Atari sued Nintendo, but I don't remember if that fell under antitrust. But that might have been part of their argument,
right,
in that whole
but
situation.
Still 3 decades ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, for sure. Jason, what are your thoughts?
It's all of my arguments stray on technical, so it's actually really weird to answer this. I don't like YouTube's live streaming platform, and I think the technical marriage of what Twitch has done before and getting YouTube live streaming in order is going to come a long way. YouTube commenting during YouTube live streams is a freaking joke. The whole of the interactivity on YouTube live streams I dislike a lot.
Wait, when you talk about YouTube streaming that you don't like, are you talking about Google Hangouts? Because I actually think that stuff's kind of amazing.
I've seen, actually, because I watch it. There's a Unity show that I watch that does YouTube live streams twice a week or so, and they're talking about like their chats and stuff, and sometimes their chats are several minutes behind. Like it's ridiculous the amount of lag.
So there's two sides of it. There's the broadcasting side of it, which is Hangouts, and there is a Hangout host specific chat, and obviously the hosts that are actually talking voice and video. But if it is doing Hangouts on air, is the moniker that actually streams to YouTube.
Right.
YouTube, you go to the YouTube interface and just as a viewer take in the Hangout. There's no chat to speak of. It's basically YouTube comments bolted onto a live stream that are slow and limited to like 180. I think it's more than Twitter, like 200 characters or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Live stream really does that a lot better.
Yeah, everything does it a lot better. YouTube live streaming as it stands is terrible. Having a technical marriage even a little bit between the two services, there is a lot of good potential.
But I think it's important to say nothing will happen overnight.
Absolutely.
Nothing's going to happen tomorrow. When they announce this, those changes would be gradual.
Yep.
But you may see something happen around the holiday when more people are getting games that they want to stream online, especially with the Twitch service built right into the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Loki, your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it'll be all right. I don't know yet. I mean, as long as they don't force Google Plus on everybody, which
Right.
they've already kind of done that. But I don't know. I mean, I use YouTube more than I use Twitch, so I don't know. I'm indifferent about it because it doesn't really affect what I do right now.
I gotta say, the news, I mean, it doesn't totally surprise me, honestly, because, it makes a lot of sense. Twitch TV was a privately held company. There were investors that had invested millions of dollars into this company. Investors want to make money. So when somebody comes in offering $1 billion with a B, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. And, it's not Comcast. I mean, there's that, but... and it's not Facebook, I guess, because everybody got real mad when Facebook bought Oculus, even though I don't think that's the end of the world either, but I digress.
None of it's the end of the world. It's all corporate bullshit.
Well, the one thing that does kind of pop into my head is, obviously I have had some difficulty with YouTube, and it's probably some of the things that you all are thinking about is with the copyright claims and the things that they do. And just to put this into perspective, last week on the show, and Jason, if you didn't know, Jason puts all of the OLR episodes onto YouTube. Well, not all of them, but ever since episode 503,
528.
Oh, really?
It's been that long.
I thought it was okay. But the past
It's been a good couple of months.
the past at least 25 episodes or so you've been working on. You always put them on YouTube. It helps to kind of like get it out there and expand the audience, and it's a really convenient way because like everything has YouTube, right? So it's a really convenient way to find OLR. You want to get OLR on your 3DS, you can do it. Just go into the YouTube app, do Orange Lounge Radio, you can get it. So I mean, we love it for that reason. That's why Jason does it and takes the time to do that. But to put it in perspective, last week's show, we had Christopher Tin on the show, right? So he's promoting his new album. And as part of the promotion, we agreed with his people that we would play 2 90-second clips from his, Baba Yetu, because I knew you all would know this, and then a 90-second clip from the upcoming album. So we played those 2 clips on the show last night. I think you guys all know, or last week, excuse me.
And you'll never guess the message that I sent to Rob last night at about 9 p.m. when everything was going up.
So Jason puts the show on YouTube, and before the thing is even finished processing, copyright claim hits our YouTube that it contains a recording from, and it doesn't even say it's Christopher Tin, or doesn't even say that it's 2K. It's like P.
It was a really vague
It was
name.
something vague that was
PEDL.
Yeah, something like that. That was a strike against the Civilization soundtrack. Now, I could sit here and fight over the nickel of revenue that the OLR, episode's going to make in ads or whatever, but like I'm kind of over it at this point. But this whole fact that YouTube lets these troll companies, and I had another one of my Let's Play videos get hit. It was my Super Hexagon video that I have on my personal channel, where the creator of Super Hexagon has said, you may place my videos up and monetize them. And then the guy who did the soundtrack, you may place my videos up and monetize them. It gets hit for the soundtrack because it's some third-party copyright troll. YouTube needs to fix this. Or I need to be able to go after these guys in response when they're doing it falsely. Because really, they always err on the side of the companies. What fucking business does that? I thought the number one rule of
All of
customers...
them.
What is the number one rule of customer service? The customer is always right.
Actually, no, it isn't.
No,
Not
whether you
anymore.
believe it or not. I'm sorry. I taught customer service for 7 years. That is the rule. The customer is always right. That's the foundation that we go on, whether we believe it's right or wrong or whatever. And I know there's situations and so forth. But YouTube does not believe that their customers are right. And that's very frustrating. That's why we're all mad.
Are you paying for it?
I am giving them stuff that they are making money off of.
But are you paying them out of your pocket?
No, I'm not paying them out of my pocket. So I can go somewhere else. Yes.
You can go somewhere else.
I can.
To her point, affiliates are more like Google's customers are advertisers. Above and beyond anything else, they are advertisers, and by extension, YouTube specifically. When the copyright crackdown happened, start of this year, whenever it was, multi-channel networks, affiliates. Those are the ones that have their own ad networks and agreements, and those are the ones where money is actually changing hands. Unfortunately, I agree with Jamie on this one. Not unfortunately, but I agree with Jamie on this one.
And on top of that, you are also looking at, potentially legitimate companies that do have the legal manpower to sue the pants off of them and get money out of them for allowing a copyright violation to go through.
Whether
Whether they're right or not, their first goal is to cover their own asses.
Well, and then this is why there's that hesitation big time amongst, and you look at Twitter right now, and RIP Twitch is trending. This is why people are upset about the buyout, because they know YouTube does not err on the side of the consumer. And so Twitch, if they go down that same path, is, everybody's just like, fuck it. Then what am I doing on Twitch? Why don't I go somewhere else? Oh shit, there isn't anywhere else that's really usable right now. So you got to make your own video streaming thing or something, which I don't even know the first thing about doing that, but maybe that'll be out there more and more as we look in the future. So
it's going to take something privately owned that isn't going to go
again.
But that'll just get again. Yeah, exactly. That'll just get sold in 7 more years.
Unless you have somebody with the integrity not to sell.
It's not.
I don't know. I don't know how much integrity I'd have if someone's flashing $1 billion in my face. But okay, sure.
I honestly don't think that I would. If I believed firmly enough in what I was doing, too many people are willing to be bought and sold, have their morals bought and sold. I don't think I could do that.
Easy to say, difficult to do. With all due
I've
respect,
passed it up before.
With all due respect, if somebody were to come in and offer $1 million for VOG, probably do it. That's a lot of money.
This isn't morals. It's just a choice. There are plenty of people that will not sell. There's plenty of people that will. There's plenty of people that will never take VC money. There's plenty of people that will.
But if you're taking a stance against this kind of business practice, then you have to be able to stand by it. The more that they think that money's going to work, the more they're going to do it.
The people that started these companies probably didn't come in with Twitch. Twitch did not come in because YouTube was bad. That was years and years and years ago.
That's different. But I'm saying if somebody is going to say, "Hey, we're offering you an alternative to the corporate-owned crap or whatever. We're offering you this,"
which might happen.
They'd have to also be willing to get their funding from, I'm going to just use quotey fingers on this, a legitimate source, as opposed to taking, buyout money. They'd have to be willing not to sell out.
Well, I mean, if we look at Twitch's history, I mean, Twitch started, of course, as Justin TV. And I remember when OLR was broadcast on Justin TV because they were just starting to get their gaming content. We had that studio at the old house and all this stuff. But Justin TV, if you even go further back, I mean, literally that website started so that the dude, Justin, who owned the thing, could live cast. He had a camera strapped to his head and live cast 24/7. And then it was him, and then it opened up to more people. And there was, Justine, I know, became like a big, no, literally her name was Justine. It was just funny that they were Justin and Justine. But,
Justine.
And then everybody could pick up on this. I remember Scott Rubin at All Games when we were a part of that network. He was really big on this whole thing. And he went to E3 one year with a camera on his head and this whole thing. I mean, that was, the big thing. And then that all spun off into Twitch, because the gaming content was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, more demand. So literally a guy with the idea to broadcast a camera next to his head just sold that for $1 billion. In a way. I mean, obviously, I'm jumping A to Z a little bit, but it's crazy how that works, right? Yeah. So
everything, the flow of business is not one way, but this is the way it works. You start with an idea, you implement it to the extent that you're able to, and then you start either if your idea is great and you make money and you can hire people immediately for that reason, great. If not, you get what resources you can, both physical and people, manpower, and then you start building up. Something's interesting, people want to go in and fund it because they are investing. They want to make their return too. This is not a bad thing. It is. People have a bad taste in their mouth ever since the year 1999 and 2000, but investments are a good way to get liquid capital and infrastructure in much less time than being able to actually save up that money or even like standard credit lines or something like that.
MM2K in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. I don't want to ignore our chat room. MM2K says advertisers are the clients, quote, yet users of the service are the consumers. SHU100 Matt says at some point a company will end up becoming so big that they need to partner up with another company to improve its product. Otherwise, someone else could swoop in with an improved version. You know, Twitch did take a little bit of heat about 3 months ago when they had to, in order to accommodate the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, they had to kind of change their streaming, from a tech side. They had to change things, and what the users saw is that now there was like a 30-45 second delay between when they would stream things and when the chat would come in, which, oh my god, like there was so much uproar about that and people were really mad, which, people had built their concepts around the instantness. I mean, something like Twitch Plays Pokemon would have worked even better had it been instant, right? But obviously they were able to make it work anyway. But I kind of look at it and laugh because we've been doing this show on a 45-second delay for about 12. I mean, that's just how it is. And I've always just thought, okay, that's just built into the show. There's always going to be a little bit of a delay. It's no big deal. You work with it. Even over-the-air radio has at least a 7-second delay because, heaven forbid, somebody say fuck, shit, cock, piss, cunt on the air. They have to be able to bleep that. So... Anyway.
I like Cial's comment. We can make our own streaming site with hookers and blackjack. Actually, well said.
But how? So, all right. Anyhow, let's see. Other comments in the chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Dungeon Buster says, a lot of companies can choose to remain private and make money that way, but going public is something that many do in order to raise capital for further expansion. It also exposes them to many, many more investors that will want a return on the money. I'm probably going to mispronounce this name, so I apologize. Ole Jank Spirit says, there is always the option for a public company to go private. It's an expensive process, but it can be done. That's true. I have heard of some companies doing that in the past. Yeah. So
Dell bought back with an investment from Microsoft. Dell bought out all their shareholders to go private mid last year, I think.
That's it. I knew I'd read somebody about that in the news.
It's not frequent. It is a thing that can be done. People get their money back at fair market value, and status changes.
I have more respect for the companies that stay private or have their shareholders be their employees. Because they're actually giving back to the people who work for them. It's a far more ethical practice. And on top of that, they're guaranteeing that, as far as I can say, they have a more satisfied worker base because the workers are actually getting a direct return from how well the company is faring.
Well, that's not happening with Twitch, so or Google in this case. I mean, this is the reality of now where we're at, and there is no gaming company that I can think of in this industry that does run this way. So now what?
The clock continues. Next company will be in the news in 2-3 years.
I kind of don't think they'll necessarily. I mean, despite the fact that I just voiced the concern with YouTube and, Twitch also has, people play music in the background when they're streaming. That's very common. And I think it's a lot harder to police the live streams and so forth. And I'm not saying people should go out there and it should just be like copyright bonanza. We're just going to stream movies on Twitch. No. But if somebody's going to play music and it's in the background and it's incidental, then it's like going to somebody's house and they have their boombox playing in the background. It's not that big a deal, right? So I just hope we don't start to over police this shit, or that's where they're going to lose consumer confidence. And any of this pushback they're seeing right now is a lack of consumer confidence in YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, but they don't need consumer confidence because there's
nowhere
else to go.
That's a very valid point.
Kind of like Comcast. Fuck you. Yeah.
Well, and even, and I just want to make clear, despite the concern I just brought up with YouTube, I'm not, again, nothing's going to change overnight. I just hope YouTube takes a cautious approach, knowing that if they are a network populated with user content, and a competitor could arise, and I guess there is Ustream and some other, this Hitbox and some of this other stuff out there, YouTube will want to be very careful in what it does. It's not unheard of for users to abandon a website and cause that website to lose oodles and oodles and oodles of money. MySpace.
Dig.
Friendster.
Orkut.
Yeah.
Yahoo.
I've never heard of Forkit.
It's Orkut. It's big in Brazil now, I think. Google owns that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Blogspot. That's still around. but
Yeah.
as long as it
Live
means it's
Journal.
Live Journal is a good example too. So, so that it's
Ask Jeeves.
Zynga. What was the
Zonga.
No, X.
Zonga. Xanga.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zonga.
So, anyhow. All right. See how one in chat says, Boombox, how old are you? Shut up. Get off my lawn.
They're not boom boxes anymore. They're jam boxes.
Oh, excuse me. All right.
That's not fair at all, considering that most songs nowadays have a drop in there somewhere. So I would think that describing the the thump of a bass would be more like a boom. Hell, there was a song talking about
Here comes
booming
boom.
bass.
There was Boom by
There
POD.
was a song called "Drop the Bass" as well. That came out when I was in high school.
Or as I just saw, like on pretty much everyone's on Facebook and Reddit and all that stuff. The was it Lonely Island skit last night where
The SNL skit.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci
Making fun of
and,
Da Vinci.
what was it when's the bass drop or something like that, or it was pretty funny.
I'll have to
Go
check
look up
that out
that
at some
clip.
point.
It was
hilarious.
pretty funny.
I'll check that out. All right. Final thought here from SSJ100 Matt in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com. We could get really deep or meta about this, but I still think it's too early. That's right. More news about this possibly to come out on Monday because, and by the time people are listening to this show, we might even have more information. So I'm not going to run this topic into the ground. It's just going to be very interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks and months, especially with, Twitch is now there's no more G4 or anything like that. So, I guess, isn't technically G4 actually still there, but it just...
Esquire.
Whatever. They might as well be gone.
G4 as it stands.
No, they're
Okay.
not Esquire anymore because Esquire it was a different station that became Esquire.
Yeah, the style thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What?
All right.
Yeah, G4's still
Who
around.
cares? Who cares? Nobody's
Whatever.
watching any of it anyway. More people are watching Twitch than any of that stuff anyway. So, but Twitch is the official streaming partner of E3. So it's going to be interesting to see how this news could, play into that a little bit. We'll see. Maybe this was something that was supposed to come out at E3. Who knows? So, all right. We are going to move on. We had... This was our breaking news topic. We had another kickoff topic we were going to start the show off with, and I'm going to turn it over to Loki, who's got a few news reports to go through here about this.
All right. So let's see. Microsoft making some really interesting decisions earlier this week. The big bombshell was that, hey, we're going to bring out an Xbox One at $399 without Kinect, and it will be coming out June 9th. So, everybody's been kind of saying, hey, I don't give a shit about Kinect. Why am I paying an extra $100 for Kinect? Well, now they've done that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, damn, now, those people, since they were trying to justify the extra $100 with Kinect, now it's not a requirement. So there's probably there's going to be as much support as there was on the Xbox 360 for Kinect. So it is kind of a waste now for those people that bought the system early. Early adopter syndrome, I guess. And then, to kind of go along with that, one of the other gripes about Xbox Live has been that most of the entertainment apps are behind the Xbox Live Gold paywall. You have to have a Gold subscription in order to be able to, watch Netflix or do any of that stuff. So now, starting, I guess, in June as well, they're going to be removing some of those. So now you're going to be able to actually, watch those apps and stuff for, without having a Gold subscription. And this is kind of interesting. I'm kind of surprised that they did this in the first place, but they are actually going to be offering refunds for people that may have had an Xbox Live subscription just to watch those apps. So why you would want a subscription just to watch those apps is beyond me. The other thing, though, free-to-play games are still going to require Xbox Live Gold. So whereas you can play an MMO for free on the PlayStation Network, you're still going to have Xbox Live Gold in order to like play like Elder Scrolls Online, for example. And then on top of that, games with gold is going to be getting a little bit of a tweak. They are doing pretty much like the PlayStation Plus program, where now any of those free games that you download aren't going to be yours to keep like they have been in the past. But now, starting in June, you're going to get games for, I guess, discounts for games. They're going to have stuff for Xbox One as well. And then any games that are part of that program, you're just going to be able to have access to, but they're not going to be yours forever. If you stop paying for gold, you don't get to play them anymore. Much like the PlayStation Network. I got to say, though, what the hell? They just go, hey, let's copy everything Sony's doing. Because it seems like they're copying everything Sony's doing. You know, they're making the tweaks exactly the same as, you know, this PlayStation Network. And that kind of seems...
Well, because Sony's outsold them by at least $2 million.
Well, I understand that, but that kind of... It smells of desperation, if you ask me.
Next thing you know, their controllers are going to operate in 3D space with the camera. Oh.
The quote unquote funny thing to me is that didn't they come out, like, didn't Don Matrick or one of those guys after E3 come out and say, oh, the Xbox One won't work without Kinect? It will not work. It does not function without Kinect.
Well, and then they've also found out, you may
I have to say that everybody saw through that corporate bullshit.
But
those words came out of their mouth. That is Microsoft's problem.
But they were steadfast to that stuff too. They were steadfast to saying, "Oh, listen, you know, this is a fact that this cannot work with it. The Sims will not run without an online connection." Or SimCity, I'm sorry. The SimCity will not run without an online connection. It is impossible for this to happen unless we want to, you know, do that.
I think there's a huge alert, memo, if we happen to have any gaming companies who happen to listen to the show, memo, alert. People see through that shit. You need to believe that your tech geek people, who are mostly pretty smart across the board, sees through a lot of that speak. Like, if this doesn't put an exclamation point on the end of that, I'm not sure what does. Now, to be fair, because I don't want to make it sound like we're taking a poop on Microsoft while they're down, I do feel like things have come a lot way for the better ever since they got that new guy in there that replaced Don Matrick. Is that Aaron Greenberg that's in that position?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I feel like things have changed for the better since then, and I do feel like there is more transparency happening. I feel like, they kind of like the direction seems to be better. So hooray. But on the flip side, I get at the same time why they're the hardcore Xbox fans out there that are a little bit disappointed that maybe Microsoft didn't stick to their original vision in some ways. But if you don't and this is true of Nintendo now, if you don't come out the gate swinging, you're going to be in trouble. Quick, named 3 Kinect games that are must-own on Xbox One.
That was funny.
Exactly. I can do it because I sell that stuff. But
okay, quick, do it. What are the 3 must-own Kinect games on Xbox One?
The brand new Kinect Sports game that they have.
Not out yet?
It is out.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, it was out.
Okay, well, it hasn't been out for a while, but okay.
Okay, so, and then you've got Just Dance 2014.
Okay, fair. Although that is on other platforms, yes.
It is. And sadly enough, I think... That's because there's only 3 Kinect games out there. So.
See? That's my point, is that they didn't come out the door swinging. And
there's the Fighters Uncaged, but that's absolute shit. So
this was the Nintendo issue as well, is that Nintendo did not come out swinging with the Wii U. Yes, their lineup was impressive, but over half of it was recycled stuff from years ago with the Wii U injected into it.
And the other half was delayed or in some cases outright canceled.
Exactly. And that's the same problem they had. So, it's a bummer that Harmonix's Fantasia thing got pushed back as far as it did, because maybe that could have been a big...
It's probably not going to sell as well anymore either.
Harmonix not having a good week this week. They are not having a good week. I feel bad. I do. I hope Chroma makes you billions. Harmonix.
Here's the thing. Okay, so they're... the stuff that they're talking about, like at least on the games with gold stuff, it's not new though. They're saying that they're going to have free games and monthly deals and other benefits. That's the same shit they have right now. It's exactly the same. In fact, the only difference right now between what it was and what they're announcing is that, oh, by the way, you're not going to be able to keep those games. That's really it. That is the only thing. It doesn't say that they're going to be building this online library. Like, for example, these new games that are out in June or whatever, those aren't going to be there in July. It's not like this, virtual library that the PlayStation Plus has. It's this now. I can't keep those games. That's really the only announcement. The fucking deals that they have and shit, it's not new. They already have that. That is already out there. In fact, I'm not even sure if you have to have gold that participate in those deals in the first place. But that just seems really stupid. It just they're not differentiating themselves. They're doing exactly the same as the PlayStation 4.
To be honest, Loki, a lot of that is secondary. I'm going to just keep it real. A lot of that stuff is secondary. And what it really comes down to is the games. And if Microsoft wants to differentiate itself from Sony, which I think they absolutely can do, and I think, are doing in a way, they did come out days later and confirm Halo 5 coming to Xbox One, which I mean, duh. But
we only saw a trailer.
It is one of those things where, okay, if you buy an Xbox One, this is something you're not going to get on PlayStation 4. And I think you're going to see a heck of a lot of this at E3. I think the focus is going to, and isn't it always? The focus is going to be greatly on exclusives.
That's really what it's going to be, because now they're the same price point, which honestly, they came down.
Isn't that funny that price point drop is timed for, the day before their press conference? Yeah. When everybody's going to be talking about Microsoft.
Originally, I don't think they were supposed to be coming out and announcing any of this stuff. I think that they had to kind of announce it early in order to kind of
prepare the retailers a little bit, probably.
Well, not even that. They could do that anyways, but I think they wanted to come out and do that so that they have a little bit more I don't know, get people excited about it and get pre-orders and sales up and stuff, because they haven't been really working that well. But I think, if anything, though, now that they've come down $100, you're not going to see a price drop on that system. But I don't really think you're going to see a price drop on PlayStation 4 since it's doing so well. But they could, if they wanted to wiggle the cost down a little bit, they could.
That's the thing, is Sony could really kick Microsoft in the balls right now if they come out at E3 and drop the price of the PlayStation 4. I'm with you. I don't think they'll do that, but there are other ways they could beef up the PlayStation 4. Well, for example, a really killer bundle game, which I guess Infamous Second Son would be the prime candidate. Some type of
Destiny in a couple of months once we get there.
Yeah, that's a good one too. But I could think that they could come out at E3 and say PlayStation 4 now has Infamous Second Son bundled in for free and a terabyte hard drive. And it's a shiny white or a red or a blue.
And the camera.
Fancy color, or they bundle the camera. There are other ways that Sony could sweeten the pot without necessarily just flat out dropping the price. The same way the Wii U's dropped the price, and that could be a kick in the balls to Microsoft. But Microsoft, I'm still looking at this going, hey, I kind of want to get an Xbox One because I know by next year I'm gonna want to play Halo 5. I'm gonna want to play Quantum Break. I want to play Sunset Overdrive. There's enough games coming for Xbox One that are exclusive that I want to check out. So I know I'll get an Xbox One eventually. And this news about the Kinect, I'm like, great. I was over that Kinect shit. So I'm excited for that.
Yes. How many times did they trick me into buying a camera? How many times did they trick me into buying a camera?
Right. Which,
don't worry, this one works.
To be fair, I did search high and low to get a camera for the PlayStation 4, but it was, something new, that whole live streaming with the camera, that whole experience that I hadn't been able to do before. That was my main motivator, not any of the games. The games was just icing on the cake. So, but, now that I have that camera on the PlayStation 4, that's even more like...
Here's the thing, though. Like, their main thing with, the Xbox One, this is kind of one of the reasons why I'm not that into the Xbox One as I was with the Xbox 360, is that, hey, look, it's like Windows 8 stuff. You can run all these Windows 8 apps in there. Okay, I got to tell you, I have Windows 8 on my laptop. I don't run any of the Windows 8 apps ever. None of them. I do not even touch that stupid Metro interface. Maybe I run Skype, and that's pretty much the only Windows 8 app. In fact, anything that they have that's defaulted in there to auto-open with the Windows 8 thing, I find the older version that's on, the laptop, the stuff that it's been around for ages now, like, any of the picture reviewers and stuff, and I defaulted to that. It's just, I don't think people are going to be using the Xbox One to Skype with each other.
Can you just, I'm sorry, now I just can't get the image out of my head, and can you imagine Jack Tretton coming out, which I know he isn't the Sony guy anymore, but just bear with me here, because this is the image I have in my mind, because I go back to last year's E3. Can you imagine Jack Tretton coming out at E3, smug motherfucker, coming out on stage and being like, PlayStation 4, we thought we'd bundle the camera with it, give it the same price. Like right after Microsoft has that. Can you imagine that?
We believe that the camera is an integral part of the PlayStation.
They should bring Jack Tretton back just to be a smug motherfucker to get up on stage and be like, we're going to give a camera away with every PlayStation 4.
And hell, we can even get the actor playing Kevin Butler to come up. He can give him a high five or something. Flip off Microsoft. Just.
2 years of Sony
see.
digs in a row at Microsoft would be pretty unreal.
I'm just saying, like, right now, like, if I had to choose, if someone said, okay, here's, $400, pick a system to buy, I'm going to buy a PlayStation 4. Just because, spec-wise, between even the same games running on both platforms, it runs better on PlayStation 4. And, I don't know, I'm not a huge Halo fan. Although, another Crackdown game, that could be interesting.
And I just want to be extra clear, because the chat room's like, I just want to be crystal clear. I do not expect Sony to actually do that where they bundle in the camera. That would be a huge cost.
No one would care.
Yeah, I just... In my head, it's funny. It's funny in my head because they got to do something smug this year, like they did last year. So in my head, it's funny. All right. Anyhow, going over to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, SG100 Matt says, I'm sure they have several different plans that will be enacted depending on how the other responds. Oh, you bet. There are rumors that Sony had 3 slides with 3 different prices for the PlayStation 4 ready to go, and they were waiting to see what Microsoft was going to do. So, I mean, rumors, but I wouldn't doubt at all that's how the game works, folks. I wouldn't doubt at all. So, SG100 Matt also said earlier, to be devil's advocate, what if this new bundle is just an entry point for people who are on the fence? Maybe they want to get people playing the system to show them that a Kinect could improve their entertainment experience. Perhaps this might be a long-term strategy.
I think, it's like the 4-gig system, basically.
Kinect was a huge selling peripheral the past few years, but I sort of think... So, I mean, there is credit to that line of thought, and I wouldn't discount it.
They always have a multi-SKU strategy.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, too, to keep in mind. The version that does have Kinect has a game bundled with it. It has Forza 5, or it's got Titanfall. This new one, I don't think has anything bundled with it. So you're kind of losing out. On top of that, you're losing out on a free game.
Interesting point, because I heard that one of our local retailers, Fry's, I saw Flacco Jones say something during Bobby's show that Fry's was selling the current Xbox Ones for $430 with Kinect. But I wonder if that's the SKU that before Titanfall was bundled in with it. I wonder if that was the old SKU.
It probably was.
So very interesting. All right, we'll see. All right, well... I got it. Dark Sakura, you've been quiet during that segment, but I know you're not the hugest, like, I got to get an Xbox One right now, but any thoughts on the price drop and the value of Kinect to the Xbox One or any of that?
It's just more business. I mean, it's meant to fool people who are on the fence. That's exactly what it is. In the end, if people want the system, they're going to buy the system. It doesn't matter what the price point is. It depends on how much they want it.
I think that on the fence statement's very important because it goes to show why 2 days later they come out and say Halo 5. Sorry, I know I'm jacking one of your news stories later, Loki, but we all know Halo 5 was announced too. But
it was, we're well aware that it was announced last year that it was coming out. It's total shocking news that it was at E3 last year.
But why reiterate it now? Because like Jamie says, it's to win the people that are on the fence.
Because now we know it's called Halo 5. Oh my God, I couldn't figure out that the next Halo after 4 was going to be 5.
Wait. Guardians. I love the Guardian legend. Oh my God.
Don't worry, it's not the last Guardian.
Well, the third Xbox
it's actually coming out.
The third Xbox is the Xbox One, so surely this is Halo 1 again.
But here's the thing. It's like, oh crap, I lost my train of thought. Whatever.
Right.
Who gives a shit?
All right. If you have more thoughts on this, of course, we'll be taking calls later in the show. 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, and of course our email bag always open to you. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com. Meanwhile, we are going to move on to the show because believe it or not, outside these 2 huge topics, there's still plenty of other stuff going on in gaming we got to get to.
Hour that we've already killed.
I know, right? I knew it was going to be one of those nights. Well, let's try to go around quickly. We always like to, at the top of the show, kind of establish the frame of reference we're all in this week by sharing with you our gaming weeks and the type of video games we've been playing this week. Dark Sakura, how was your gaming week? What have you been up to?
It was actually, I've had another busy week. So I did play some, I actually haven't touched Animal Crossing. Can you believe it? Because I've been playing Bravely Default a
There's
little
going to
bit.
be weeds. Oh, well, you know what? That's a good excuse.
I'm not going to have weeds because I have the perfect village and I have the
ordinance.
the pretty village ordinance. Which I guess I should check on my villagers and see if that diva bitch left yet. I played some Mass Effect just to find out that my mods weren't working again. Tried to play some Final Fantasy 14, but I'm in the really shitty, boring part where I have to gain another level and a quarter before I can do more story quest.
Something to try, because there is that big lull between 40 and 50, something to try. See if you can trigger any of the dailies, because I want to say the Kobold dailies start at 41, and that's at least 3 more quests you could do, which might help.
I've got the soulless ones.
Oh, there you go.
The little soulless ones.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about them.
So
I just hate that whole area.
Yeah. They refresh every day, so it'll help push you over the limit a little bit. So.
Yeah, but mostly I've just been running around looking at fates and
Fates are good.
looking at fates and
I
bored.
still find pretty areas in that game I haven't seen before.
I was
It's
trying to
amazing.
finish my hunting log because I only have the last 2, the 48 and 49.
Nice.
Oh, the 49 and 50, I guess. Whatever the last 2 are. But they're like in like 2 of the critters are like in this back corner that you have to go through all of these things to kill before you can remotely get there. And I think I just need to have someone covering my ass so I can get there and kill it.
If you need a bodyguard, Jamie, just remember, I
No.
will always cure you.
You know what?
Please don't do that.
Nobody does that song like Dolly Parton. So stop it.
You needed a little more country twang next time.
Nobody can touch Dolly. Not even Dead Whitney.
Aw.
Unless Dolly was crack, in which case...
Y'all are disrespectful. All right. Loki, how was your gaming week?
Oh, come on. Who was the people who had R.I.P. Whitney as a death knight?
That was not me. I have R.I.P. Betty White.
That was me, actually.
R.I.P. Betty White I have on hold just because we all know it's going to happen. Like, I don't want
I think
it to happen.
I think I had R.I.P. Whitney now that I think about it. Oops.
All right. By the way, we had all these death knights on World of Warcraft. We were all playing that. And like one day somebody thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny to roll all these RIP characters for people that aren't dead yet, but will probably be dead soon. And of course, Jamie, anyway, I think somebody had RIP Lindsay, but I don't know. Anyway,
Jamie won the lottery on that
Jamie
one.
won the lottery. All right. Loki.
I've only played a little bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, in which case I kicked everybody's ass in multiple games several times over, score capping everything.
I have to say from chat, live.vognetwork.com, Dark Tetsuya is like, wow, that took a dark turn. Did a little bit. It was a little bit of a dark place.
Sakura, hello.
All right, sorry, Loki.
But yeah, and mostly it was just programming. Like I said earlier, that I was working on my object editor, which I just finished building a copy and paste function. So that's cool, I guess. The only thing I have to do left on that, I guess, is actually have to replace all the prefabs I have with ones that are split up by triangles so that I can run a script in there to detect which pieces of geometry are actually hidden inside the object so that it removes all the unnecessary faces off there. That's about it, I think. Yeah.
Isn't programming fun and exciting?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I'm actually learning quite a bit, and a lot of it. I'm kind of like, oh, okay, well, how do I do this? And then I look it up, and I figure that out. And then, a lot of times now, even with some of these things, I'm just kind of figuring it out on my own now. I'm able to solve my own problems in here, and it's like, I don't actually know how to do this now. But then again, I kind of have to wonder, how limited C# is in. It's not limited in Unity, but a lot of it's just kind of okay, pointing variable to variable and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm sure it's way different, outside of like Unity.
All right, I'll do my gaming week, and then we'll wrap up with Jason. My gaming week, not really a lot of new games, but I've been playing a lot of old standbys. Diablo 3, I've been playing a lot of this week. We'll talk about this a little more in detail later in the show, but they're having like a weekend where you can get increased legendary drops. So, of course, I had to check that out, and a lot of my friends are playing that right now, too. In the Blizzard camp, I've also been playing the Heroes of the Storm Alpha. I've unlocked the daily quests, so I actually, I have that thing where I can get gold by playing as a StarCraft character today or playing as a support character today. Kind of encourages you to try new things. But look, I know Heroes of the Storm is an alpha, so I don't want to be too critical of it because there's a lot in testing. But I really need a way to report players. Most of the players in the game have been really good so far, but once in a while, and last night I had a real jerk off that was playing the game that just flat out called me out, was like, you suck, you're awful at this. And I said, wow, you're really motivating me to do better. And I just followed him the entire rest of the match. And I still participated. I did, stuff. I just followed him the entire rest of the match. I just, call me a troll or whatever. That's fine. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, when you're negative to people, you're going to lose. And I'll tell you what, every instance I've had in that game so far, if somebody is negative, we lose. If everybody's like positive, like, hey, I'm not talking about like you have to be like, I love you so much, OMG, you guys are the best as ever. It doesn't even have to be like that. Just like, hey, how's it going? Going top. We need more on mid. If people like play that way, win every time. So, but right now, because it's an alpha, we don't have a way to report people. And it really like grinds my gears because, it's really hard to get in the Heroes Alpha. You basically have to win the lottery right now. So why there's these toxic people that are being let in when there's other people I know that really want to play and really want to test and really want to get the most out of the game, they can't get in. It's very frustrating. So hopefully Blizzard's going to pull back the curtain a little bit and show us what they plan to do to quell the, MOBA trend that unfortunately has taken hold of a lot of those games, and that is that most of them are pretty toxic. So, don't be a dick, you guys. All right, and let's see. Otherwise, more Final Fantasy 14, although I really hit a wall with Endgame this week. It was like, I really don't want to pull this boss anymore. I'm so over it. Overit.com. So I kind of need a new patch to get here soon, but it's coming. So I don't know how the Warcraft people are doing it. They're on the same raid, and they're going on like 9 months now. Although I will say...
We've done it.
I will. Well, yeah, and I will say, funny enough, okay, here's what's really weird, and I'm totally going to get judged for this, but like I've kind of been flirting with the idea of going back to WoW just for a little bit, just because I haven't played for a few months, so all that stuff is kind of new to me. And it's like, well, when I've kind of hit the end of my creative juices with this MMO, kind of makes me want to go back and see my old MMO and check in with all the people I still know that are over there. I don't know. Such is the life of an MMO player, I guess. And then I wonder why I don't get any other games played. So, all right.
You could help me finish my levels. That would be fun.
I offered to be your bodyguard, but then everybody was like, shut up, Rob.
No, they were telling you to stop singing.
I will only bodyguard if I can sing.
You can sing, but I don't have to have the mic on.
I am a bard, you guys. That's what we do. All right. Jason, how was your gaming week?
I feel strange because I actually had quite a prolific gaming week, which is against the grain of everything you guys have said before and also against the grain for me while I'm out here. But I actually played quite a couple of interesting things. A little bit more Titanfall. I streamed a little bit on Saturday. I don't think I have announcements set up, so you just kind of have to know to look, and that's obviously not the easiest thing. Unless somebody's actually subscribed to me, which would surprise me a lot. I made a couple of clips. I recorded a couple of local clips, and then I clipped one of the streams from Twitch onto Twitch's recorded videos that isn't the entire stream. Whatever. Anyways, Titanfall is fun. That's the story here. I started into Crypt of the Necrodancer that I've been meaning to for a little while. And after getting acquainted with the way that game worked, I proceeded to go to the forums. I was thinking about reporting a bug, but it's something that's going to be fixed in a future release anyways, because the game is still being active developed, whatever. I am fucking terrible at Crypt of the Necrodancer. I pay so much attention to the rhythm of the game that I know I understand the patterns of the enemies, but they still just completely destroy me. Jamie, in her Classic Game of the Week last week, was talking about Rogue. Crypt of the Necrodancer is a rhythm roguelike.
I didn't know that game was out. Is that on Steam?
Pre-order alpha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you actually can't buy it right now. Pre-orders were open for a certain amount of time. All of those players have alpha. You should have pre-ordered it when I talked about it on the game on the show.
I just forgot. So shoot me.
It'll be out. It's and I'm starting to look at how custom songs are going to work to make things really fucking crazy. So I go on the forums to report a bug, and I'm just kind of poking around, looking at other threads, and there are people that are already just completely destroying the game. There was a forum post titled "Hardcore Schmardcore," something silly like that somebody has already thoroughly decimated hardcore with without dying, all of the power-ups, all of the items, and all that kind of stuff. I can't even get past the fucking second dungeon of that game. It's the exact same thing as Binding of Isaac, and it's the weirdest thing. But yes, Crypt of the Necrodancer is quite fun. I have high hopes for it, and I'm going to keep continuing to play it because it's worthwhile. Little bit more Hearthstone, but nothing particularly interesting to say about that. And then there was something else on something that I played, but nothing new, and I don't think... Obviously, there wasn't anything interesting to say about it if I can't even think of it. Probably FTL, which I am also still completely terrible at.
You might be proud of me a little bit. I didn't talk about it during my game of the week because I literally played like 5 minutes of it, but I did buy Titanfall this week on PC. Yeah, because Origin had that Please Play Origin sale where like a lot of their games were 40% off. So I picked up...
still exist sale.
Yeah, exactly. Please Play Origin. So I picked it up for like $35. I was like, all right. I need something that will really push my new computer to its limits. So I only played through the tutorial. And then I tried to do a match, but I was having connection problems. It was like Origin can't connect, blah, 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 which... You know, as much as I want to come on here and go, LOL Origin, our internet was acting a little wonky, so I'm going to give it a pass this time. But I'll try to get in there later. It is weird, though, how you can only play campaign multiplayer. It's a little weird, but all right, I'll try it.
And if you win or lose, it doesn't actually change the flow of the campaign.
That's good.
Yeah. It's... Well,
the mech battle stuff's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, they're kind of a lot of fun to control. At least the tutorial was neat.
The agility in that game, like all of the agility and all of the stunts, really, really do it for me. Because Mirror's Edge was fun, but it was a little bit heavy, and you get all of the benefit of all of this fancy. You know, like it's faster than Halo, and there's more maneuverability on building sides and double jumping and grappling up the corners, all that kind of stuff. And like I don't call Titans down very often in that game. I just kind of stick to my guns, literally and figuratively. I stay on foot and I do what I can. Rodeoing a Titan is fucking fantastic. I don't know what it is, but that really, really makes the game for me. If I don't doom a Titan when I'm rodeoing it, if that's even proper conjugation, when I rodeo a Titan, if I don't doom it, I'm not pissed off because the whole process is just fun. The ability to just kind of be on a rooftop, see that an enemy Titan's coming that way, banzai, right on top of it and into it. Just, I don't know, that like I fell out of first-person shooters more or less a while ago. I enjoy Titanfall thoroughly.
That's quite the endorsement.
I still think a PS4 is the better investment in the first place. and I have Titanfall on the 360, but all of my friends that do as well have it on the One. Well, besides you, but I don't have a PC.
I'm the lone PC guy.
Anyways,
yeah.
I think it's just because I have access to a Xbox One, and I have literally still never played a PS4. But I'm getting very
one in the other room.
Yeah, well, I made time for Scandia today and the show, and not the PS4. Unfortunately,
it's fine.
Yeah, I still to this day have not touched a PS4, and the Xbox Ones that we have at work, I played with a friend in person. We have 2 of them at work now, and so we both had our dedicated TV and Xbox One. I didn't really chime into the Kinect argument because I was just going to say the same thing. I don't mind the Kinect being around. I'm signed in instantly as soon as the console is warmed up. There's still some weird flow things with the way that the console operates, but the Kinect, the Xbox One, live streaming, Titanfall, I'm having a pretty fucking good time. Kind of really like it. But that's the only thing I'm doing besides Peggle to cool down. Anything else until I don't even know. Sunset Overdrive is probably the only other game on the Xbox One that I'm like specifically fixated on.
Just to be fair, PlayStation 4 also has the instant sign-in if you have a camera. Because it'll see you. Yep, it'll see you, and you hold the controller up. Like when I go sit on the couch and I turn it on, it draws a box around my face. It goes Rob Roberts, and then I hold up the controller and it flashes and it knows what.
Can't they just have it default to one user profile like
you would think.
The Xbox and the PlayStation 3 did? I mean,
you would think
it's so difficult. This technology.
Well, if you don't have the camera, it will come up. It will come up and you can pick. So,
and I like having my own profile. I've always been annoyed that Nintendo, that the Wii so specifically only has one profile, and you have to choose a different character. Even multiplayer games like fixate around one profile. Anyways,
all right.
Yeah, I definitely want to make an investment in something soon. Obviously, I can get by with Titanfall on the 360, but I don't know. No,
right.
we'll see once the money is actually there to be able to do it, which is not going to be anytime soon because E3.
Yeah, speaking of which, I want to get into housekeeping here real quick before we get into the rest of the news tonight. For housekeeping tonight, we will be here for the next few weeks. I mentioned that we might be off. That is not going to happen after all. So we're going to be working pretty hard over the next few weeks. Part of that reason is that VOG will be represented at E3 this year. We're going to have 2.5 times the manpower this year we had last year, so that's going to be great. So check that out. You can see what we did last year, e3.vognetwork.com, and we plan to do something very similar this year. We'll have more details probably next week or the week after, either on Bobby's show or here on OLR. But I'm going to be there. Bobby's going to be there. Jason's going to be there. So unfortunately, Dark Sakura and Loki cannot be there. But they'll be watching from home, and we'll give their commentary that Sunday on the program, and we will be back. I will be back from E3 in time that Sunday. We will have a proper wrap-up show. I don't see us we don't want to commit to doing anything from E3 as far as broadcast goes, because we're trying to keep ourselves pretty busy. What we're trying to do is we're trying to line up people for the shows for the coming months. So although you may feel like, I wanted to get my E3 shows, during the time, well, you will have all the information on the website where you can ask questions, and we're hoping to really bring content to the shows over the coming months. So it's kind of an investment sort of thing. So, but we're really looking forward to that. So I'm excited. So. Also, I know some of the other VOG people. I keep focusing on us, but I do know Electric Sisterhood's going to be there too. I don't know who else from the network. I think that's it from our network that's going to be there, but I do know. I don't want to leave out ESH. They are going to be there, but they do, because they do a lot of written content for their own site. They kind of focus on that, so we don't rope them into the VOG coverage, but you'll hear stuff on their show for sure. So shout out to the lovely ladies at Electric Sisterhood, Tuesdays on VOG. I think that's it. I think that's all I have. So let's get into some gaming news, shall we? Loki.
So there's a rumor. I mean, originally it was going to be that I thought they were talking about Halo 2, the anniversary edition of that coming out on Xbox One or something. Well, now they're going to have apparently this rumored Halo Master Chief Collection that's going to be coming out Xbox One. It's I don't know if you can call it HD remastered, but HD or remastered versions of Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4. And
HD.
and apparently it's not going to include Halo Reach and Halo 3 ODST. And I guess that's supposed to be coming out maybe on Xbox One at some point, in time for Halo 5 Guardian, which they announced the title and have like a little picture. It's supposed to be coming out fall of 2015 though. So if you were thinking that's going to be the big fall title for Xbox One, nope.
No, sounds like this Halo 1 through 4 compilation, if it's true, which you kind of have to weigh like what's the source is coming from, and how much do I kind of put credit in it. It definitely sounds plausible. It doesn't sound illogical. We've already heard rumors before about a Halo 2 HD, so it being expanded to include 3 and 4.
There's still technically, it's possible that they will still do the Halo 2 HD for the Xbox 360, and then the Xbox One, which would make sense. Xbox One would contain the Xbox 360 Halo Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, and Halo 4, since, it would be harder to upscale, redo all the visuals for.
I would have thought it would have just been an engine like Halo 4, since it's the newest, maybe up-res for Xbox One, and then it just has all the old maps. Like I kind of thought that's where it would end up going, but I guess if they really do put all 4 complete games in there for $60, that's a pretty darn good deal, especially to catch people up. And on the Xbox One, Halo 2 on Xbox Live now would be a great asset.
It's too bad though that the multiplayer in that game wouldn't be all of the Halo maps in like the Halo 4 engine or something like that. That'd be pretty awesome.
Kaijudo in chat at live.vognetwork.com says, isn't Halo 3, Reach, and 4 already all HD? No, remember, Loki said HDer. It's the
HDer.
HDer.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. Is like I don't understand. Like
1080p, 60 FPS, OMG.
Well, no. Hold on. This is the Xbox One we're talking about here, so that's not a guarantee at all. I mean, there's no guarantee that's going to be 60 frames per second or 1080p, native 1080p. So I don't know, but yeah, Halo. So expect some Halo in your future if that's. But really, is the compilation of games that they've already put out really going to sell you an Xbox One? I don't think so.
It wouldn't. Go back to Jamie's on the fence comment from earlier. It definitely sways somebody who's on the fence like me. Like, it's another one of those things where I like, well, if I get it, I'm not going to get an Xbox One just for this. But if I get an Xbox One and I want to play Killer Instinct and I want to play Quantum Break, shit, now I can get Halo 1 through 4 as well. Ooh, that's a pretty good argument. You know, that's kind of what it does. I think they'll sell a lot, especially the Halo 2 part of that. I mean, like Kaijudo said, Halo 3 and 4 are already HD. What's the big deal there? For me, it's the Halo 2 end of it is really the centerpiece of that whole collection.
What if you get extra pink armor?
More pinker?
More pinkier. What if it's like in multiple
I already had
hues
pink armor in Halo 2.
What if it's like in multiple hues of pink and purple?
I would so be there. If I could
think you can
collect,
do that.
What if you can add sparkles?
collect hearts and bunnies and all
What
the
if you
little
can have
symbols?
bling armor?
Oh, now sparkles didn't. You had the symbols in Halo, but you never had the sparkles. That would
Somebody-
be.
I thought they
somebody-
had something. What it was burning. They had fire, which was a special like Bungie Halo 3 helmets that you could get.
Somebody did a mod for Mass Effect 3 where all the armor is sparkly and blinged out, like it's made out of jewels. They should do that for Halo, and that means then I would buy it.
Ikuma JP in our chat at live.vognetwork.com says, "Hello Kitty Halo." All right, you guys are, but I'm interested in it. But it's one of those things where it's like, well, if I get an Xbox One, I'll just pick this up too. So.
I like your bear pants.
I was wondering if anybody was going to bring up the PJs again this time.
Okay, so Jason's here because he is visiting California. He's doing laundry outside during the show.
I'm going to take a picture of your bear pants
And
your bear leg.
Last week, Jason had these like chili pajama bottoms that he was like little like the restaurant chilies, like pepper chili,
Whole
chili peppers,
chilies, not cut chilies.
Yeah, that was where they had, and this week he has the bears or whatever. It's just really funny to me because he had pants on when the show started, so he changed pants in the garage into these bear PJs, and then came back in the studio.
Right on the other side of the wall from your head.
Gross, but
hey, who was the one that was talking about the short situation?
The fact that I'm so
as soon as the show's over, woo!
You're right. With Horde House, I don't have to wear pants. All right.
Hey, do you know how many times I've done remote ins for OLR? Mm-hmm. Like when I've been on the show on my house, where I've had no bra. Seriously, who wants any of that crap on when you're at home?
Dark Sakura's not wearing pants right now.
Actually, I'm wearing shorts.
Oh.
Under my skirt. I'm wearing an amazing floofy skirt.
She's wearing
a very Renaissance festival.
That's actually what it's from. Yeah. This skirt is now 4 sizes too big for me.
I feel like you should do some twirl dancing in that skirt or something.
I might catch fire and turn into a Mockingjay.
All right. Let's move on to some more news. So we'll see what happens with the Halo. Hey, I mentioned earlier in the show, Diablo 3 was having a very special weekend this weekend, and it is the legendary event to celebrate the second birthday of Diablo 3, or for many of us, the rebirth of a game that was mediocre the first time, that after some patching and removal of the auction house and so forth, now kicks a lot of ass after its latest expansion. So 100% increase to legendary drops. That's going on right now, and it runs through Thursday. So if you haven't checked out Diablo 3 in a while, now's a good time to get back on there. That you do not have to have the expansion for that, although you do have to have the expansion for adventure mode, which is really like all I ever play now.
That
like
means
that's the
now
end
I
game.
have to install that on my computer. There's plenty of people at Lowcat who are playing it on their computers at work during lunch.
It's it's funny because you brought up roguelikes last week and Rogue in your classic game of the week, and this is like one of the kings of roguelikes, really, and it really is just such an easy game, especially with adventure mode, to just kind of go in and do a rift, mindless, get some upgrades, and I'm done. Like it's a great little time killer. So that's part of it. But the other part of this is that maybe if you don't want this on PC or whatever, you're more of a console gamer. Maybe you've been wondering, when is this coming out on PlayStation 4? Because they talked about this a long time ago. Well, guess what? They finally announced Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, the Ultimate Evil Edition, is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, as well as 360 and PS3, which already had Diablo 3. The release date, August 19th. This will include the Reaper of Souls expansion, And this will be Diablo 3's first foray on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now, you might be thinking, well, do I have to own Diablo 3 on 360 or PS3 to have this? And the answer is, no, you don't. And then the second thought is, well, great, I'm screwed because now I already bought Diablo 3. I got to buy it again. Yes, but the good news is that it will be cheaper. It will be only $40 on the 360 and the PlayStation 3.
Ooh.
Whereas it will be the full $60 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but it will be game plus expansion.
Yeah, but you know what? $40 buys lunch for 2 weeks.
And it buys the PC version, too. So, something to think about. Infernal Pauldrons will be granted to your account if you pre-order now. So, there you go.
No.
And Diablo 3 currently running on patch 2.0.6, although it should be noted that the PC and the console versions run independently sometimes because the console version runs loot very differently because you don't really have the inventory the same way. The Legendary event I just spoke of actually doesn't apply to the console versions.
Console versions are running on version ERR37.
Don't be a jerk. All right. Bochikawa in chat playing a lot of Diablo, apparently. Bochikawa says, got like 20 legendary todays, only using 3 of them. You know, I've been getting legendary patterns out the wazoo. Lots and lots and lots and lots of patterns. So that's exciting for the crafty side of me. Dark Sakura, what do you have for us?
I'm sorry, I'm just a little horrified about Ikuma JP suggesting that all the guys here wear fundoshi.
Is that like what the sumo...
Yeah, kind of.
Like
the ancient Japanese banana hammock.
Ancient jockstrap, basically.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. I was just mildly horrified.
Maybe I'm wearing one of those under my pants.
Does that explain your no panty lines?
No, that's just my big butt.
Anyway, Path of Exile, that other game. Well, it actually has been running a charity for Child's Play and raised $20,000 for Child's Play. The event started on May 10th and went on until yesterday. Next Saturday, May 24th. And basically, it has an in-game item on sale, the Angelic Mask, that has sold 3,600 units. And there's also prizes in there for... different drawings. There's a level 15 one that's 100 stash tab bundles. It goes up to 35, gets an NVIDIA performance card. The 85 one is an hour private Q&A on Skype with the game makers. So pretty cool deal. Not too late to check it out. Not too late to buy stuff for kids.
That's really neat that they're kind of turning that into a charity. Like those are types of things that sound like Kickstarter rewards, but it's all going more to a charity benefit. And you know, if you don't like the because $40, you just joked earlier, $40 could buy a heck of a lot. Path of Exile is free.
Yeah, it is.
To check out. And then if you like it, you can give $40 to
buy
charity.
your $5 item and help out some kids.
There you go. I think that's great. That's a great use for Path of Exile. Kudos to you guys over there.
Do you remember Kudos, Rob?
Like the candy
snack?
bar?
They don't still make those, do they?
Oh, no. They were granola bars, right?
Those were good.
Yeah. Chocolate-covered granola
Every
bars.
time I hear Kudos, though, I think of those now. Ever since the 80s, and I want one.
It's funny.
Every time they make them anymore.
Every time I hear Oreo, I think about cookies, too. Go figure.
You know what? You can bite my big toe. Because I stepped in grass today and got a nice big hive on it, so you could bite it.
Oh, you must have been in our backyard.
No, I was actually in my front yard because I left my phone at Charlie's.
Nope.
At the restaurant around the corner from my house.
Nope.
Thank goodness they found it because I was like, lost mode.
You just told all the listeners where you live.
Don't fucking care.
Come over and party with Dark Sakura, guys.
I didn't say what Charlie's exactly was. I didn't say exactly where it was. I just said it was Charlie's.
I'm just messing with you.
Don't fucking care.
Well, it's just like when somebody...
If any of you people show up at my house, I'll throw my cat at you.
So somebody came on here the other day and said, like, oh, we went to the Gym Boys down the street. And I'm like, give away where I live. Well, luckily, there's like 40 Gym Boys, so it's just funny.
There's a million Gym Boys in Sacramento.
There are. All right. Anyhow, which, by the way, that's a good taco. Yeah. And they're not paying me to say that. All right,
Yuck.
Loki.
Yuck.
All right. Well, back on the subject of Halo. Halo Collector's Edition, I guess, or Combat Evolved on PC. It ran on GameSpy, and well, it's actually being taken over now by a third-party company, Game Ranger, who is going to be doing support for that and allowing that to continue on multiplayer-wise, because I know a lot of people are fans of Halo. Also, I guess Lost Planet 3 is also moving to a new service to retain its multiplayer. Also, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online Edition and Marvel vs. Capcom Origins are all migrating away. But Age of Booty and Flock, not so much. And then, let's see. Mortal Kombat also is going to be moving off of GameSpy servers. And, of course, that's the last Mortal Kombat game to come out. Mortal Kombat 9, I guess, if you would. And although after, I guess, May 31st, the Vita version, though, is only going to support ad hoc multiplayer. That is not getting its multiplayer fix. But for all the other versions, though, they are migrating away from GameSpy.
It's interesting to hear about all these games that are like frantically trying to fix themselves to get around GameSpy, and which ones have the big enough bases to do it, and which ones, are just like, fuck it, ain't worth the trouble. So
Yeah.
if you like your games, play them online regularly, or it might happen to you. Reminds me, I need to go play more Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. The whole rumor about the trilogy holds true. I want there to be a multiplayer renaissance. I hope so. All right. Moving on. Jason.
Quick little fun one. I think we've referenced a couple of times about flashing back to the 80s already in this episode, but do it again. Go get out your cassette tapes and bring up your VHS players and put on Cyndi Lauper. The Goonies is back. Well, sort of. Quite possibly the first game to accompany a film's release in the same year, The Goonies, was updated by Team Sloth recently. Sloth Team. The original Goonies game made by Datasoft has been updated for Windows and Linux with new graphics and sound, and even a couple... It sounds like Laura Keith from what I remember in the movie. I should have played the Goonies theme when we played Pop and It's Candy today, if it's even on there.
It might not even be on there.
I did good. Anyways.
Any excuse to play this song. It's one of my very favorite 80s songs.
Yeah, it's worth it.
And the game has like an 8-bit version of this, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the old one did. I wonder if I have that one. I'm going to dig for that while you...
Modern graphics, newer graphics, newer sounds, and as I said, a couple of additional levels. All of 20 megabyte download can be yours.
So is this a remake of the NES version, or is this like they had an arcade version, I thought. Was this like a PC-only thing?
This was specifically a PC version that was brought into actual modern compatibility.
Oh, God. Bobby Blackwolf in chat said TwitchTube just emailed their copyright strike. Yeah. What do you want to bet? That little interlude I just played, it's going to strike the episode.
I'll talk to you in 6 days then, I guess.
God. Here we'll strike. Let's go for strike 2 with the 8-bit version. Yes.
This game, this song actually had a third channel because there, you hear kind of the backbeat, and the main, but right here, splits into the two harmonies.
Melody,
very fun.
Love it.
Good song. Love me some Goonies. We actually watched that. We've been starting to do a thing at work called Third Thursday, where we all the remote people get together and watch a movie via one of our live streaming sources. And I take it back. Goonies wasn't related to that, but The Office watched Goonies in the last 2 or 3 months or something like that. It was really fun. I missed Goonies as a kid. I've only seen it since I was at least a teenager or possibly even a young adult. But I've seen it a couple of times in the last decade, and good movie. Always good to catch back up with that.
I like this story because it always reminds me that there's a scene for these remakes, and there's a lot of very talented people that remake a lot. Like I was looking at the comments, and apparently somebody else had done a Goonies remake not that long ago too, and had all these MSX game remakes. And I'm always kind of blown away by the talent of people that kind of take these old video games and then kind of remake them just as hobbyist projects.
I truly don't even understand how it works. I get mods, I get game development, not to say I could do it, but I truly do know the pieces that go in together, but to take something like that and just completely modernize it, I suppose I'm comparing it to how modding worked in the PlayStation world, where DRM and tricky things to wait off hackers and copiers or anything like that actually became a thing. But back then they were probably really, really raw assets that they could literally just take the time to make look better, slap it into place. The game's fucking 20 megs. This isn't bolting it onto the Unreal Engine and starting over.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Well,
Go Sloth team.
I will have to check that out at some point because I do like the old games.
Even the reference to Truffle Shuffle. How could I go without a reference of this article to the Truffle Shuffle?
Luckily, it's a radio show, so we don't have to see it. All right,
What are you insinuating?
Dark Sakura.
Well, we do have some good news for our friends in the UK. Some good news. Well, there is. And actually, it's already sold out now. But UK
Bad news.
Yeah. Well, there's UK retailer John Lewis selling the Wii U for £112, marked down from going from the $234.95 ones went to $159.95, and the $149.95 ones went to $112.
If anyone's curious, 112 pounds is just shy of $200.
So yeah, that was it was the 8 gigabytes Wii U with new Super Mario Brothers U, and also an 8 gigabyte SD card.
That is dirt cheap for all that.
That is
for the
cheap.
complete bundle and everything else for sub $200. That is fantastic.
And
we
now
haven't
they're
seen
gone.
it that low in the U.S., have we? Craziness.
Now they're gone.
Good
I
on you
wonder
that got
why.
to it in time.
Wow. All right, well, let's travel around the world and check out some games that are coming out this week as we look at release dates and hopefully things that you'll be able to get your hands on before they sell out.
Yes. Well, this week there's actually not a whole ton coming out, but some good games. Starting off with Wolfenstein, The New Order, which will be out on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC. Drakengard 3 on PlayStation 3, and Mugen Souls Z on the Vita. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, not a whole ton.
I guess waiting for summer to officially start before you
But
get
the
more
week
stuff.
after next, Watch Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be pretty big.
Then Mario Kart 8 right behind
Yeah,
it, right?
Mario Kart 8 that same week as well. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's check out what's coming out in Japan. On the PlayStation 4 this week, Infamous Second Son gets its Japanese release on May 22nd, so you can check that out if you're a PS4 owner in Japan. It's a pretty good game. I've only played little bits and pieces of it, but I got into it more than I did the other Infamous games, so there you go. On the PlayStation 3, it's a soccer full week as World Soccer Winning 11 2014 that comes out this week from Konami, as well as a specialized soccer controller from Hori, who does like a bunch of those peripheral things. So if you need the ultimate in controlling your soccer games, you have that on the PlayStation 3 this week. Nothing on the Xbox 360, but what else is new as far as Japan is concerned? On the Vita, you have a few things to look forward to, like Amnesia World and To Love, Rue Darkness. Battle Ecstasy.
To Love Rue, Darkness.
To Love Rue, Darkness. Well, I keep wanting to say To Love Rue Paul, but that's actually not the case whatsoever. Although, I don't know, they could be drag queens.
No.
We'll never know. It's not.
No.
I think it's based on anime, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very
Very
much
much
so.
so. Yes.
And what kind of, well, in this one, it's like, you can almost see right up this girl's skirt. It's a little scandalous.
You are filled with the unsurprising statements of the day in these
Right?
last 2 minutes.
What
I seem to remember that.
have you played this game at all?
I want to say I might have seen an episode two of the anime. I probably didn't. I'm sure I just saw reference to it in general.
The back of the box emphasizes communication, battle, and adventure. So there you go.
So in other words, anime girls in
in another
hilarious situations.
anime adventure
yeah.
game. I think you kind of know what you're in for on that. All right, and then on the Wii U this week, well, nothing, but you do have Mario Kart 8 to look forward to worldwide. So when we get it, you guys are getting it in Japan as well. And last, I was just going to check out the 3DS because they get some regular releases. World Soccer Winning 11 also on the 3DS this week. That's it for Japanese releases. Dark Sakura, how about the UK?
In the UK, there is, on the 20th of May, there is a Transistor for PS4, PC, Wolfenstein, The New Order for everything. On the 21st, Always Sometimes Monsters on PC. The 23rd, Killer is Dead, and Tropico 5. And since this will come out after the 25th has already hit, the 25th has already hit, in the UK, I'll go ahead and say The Inner World will be out on Android.
All right. Just a couple more stories for you guys before we get to the classic game of the week. Loki.
All right. Well, this is kind of exciting, but Far Cry 4 has been converted, and ironically enough, it was pretty much what was leaked out months ago regarding, it's going to take place in the Himalayas, and they haven't.
Sorry about that. I tried to bring up an article and it played a video. I hate that shit. Sorry about that.
It will be coming out November 18th on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC. And I guess they're saying that, they haven't really talked too much about who the main character is and stuff, but it looks like this very flamboyant dictator of some sort. So
Kafka.
Could be cool. Yeah. So, and then I guess they're going to have some pre-order bonuses and that fun stuff.
Of course.
Yeah.
To be continued at E3. I'm
Yes.
sure. All right, one other story here, and that is rumors about the PlayStation 4 camera price going up. Isn't this ironic? As through all the joking we were making earlier in the show about, wouldn't that be funny if they gave it away now? There's actually rumors out there that the price is going up. Well, what this is coming from is I guess there was a contest giveaway, and unfortunately I can't bring up that site because they're one of those horrible sites that has the autoplay videos. But they had some sort of contest reference that there was a contest that showed that the approximate retail value of the camera that they were giving away in the contest, this was some type of official Sony contest, was $69.99, whereas the retail price of those cameras right now, $59.99. But as we know, a while ago, GameStop, for whatever reason, because those cameras were hard to find for a short time, GameStop jacked up the price $10.
Was the contest in America?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because I don't think the values would have reflected it otherwise. It would have reflected the local currency. But anyway, as we all know, GameStop had jacked up the price $10 for a time. I don't know if they're still doing that.
I'm not surprised.
But I will tell you this. I think it could be the case that somebody was just lazy and Googled the price when they were writing those contest instructions. I don't think they have like insider information or something. And I will say this much. I just went to Amazon and looked up a PlayStation 4 camera, and you can even give it for $59.96. 3 cents off, bitches. But yeah, at Amazon.com right now, they're still selling that, and I'm sure lots of other retailers. So nothing that we've heard of yet regarding the price officially going up. I would just chalk this up to some bad Google foo at Sony. And
in case you're wondering, yes, it is still $69.99 at GameStop, or pre-owned for $54.99.
Well,
such a deal.
Fuck that. You can go get it's right there, PlayStation 4 in stock from, is it Amazon themselves selling it or is it one of their resellers? Let me look. No, it ships and sold by Amazon.com. So,
well,
and I know, and I'm picking on Amazon here, but I imagine Best Buy has them and maybe Target, and so a lot of those other retailers probably have them too. So, they're not hard to find anymore. It was the Japanese launch that made them hard to find for a while, and now that's not a problem. So, go get them if that's what you want. But if you don't, well, you still have a pretty good gaming console. All right. Let's take a trip down memory lane, you guys. We're going to take a trip back to when you didn't need fancy cameras to play video games. You didn't need to broadcast yourself online playing a video game, because you know what? Nobody needed to see you swearing like that.
Or
Nobody
any
needed to see
other
it.
part of you on the camera.
It's the classic game of the week. And every week, Dark Soccer steps into the gaming vault and finds a game that she thinks, hey, you kids should be playing this game right now. And if you're not, I'm going to kill you.
No.
Or
I'm
the
gonna shoot your food.
Or the lack of eating food will kill you.
Okay, first I have to tell you what inspired this.
Okay.
So I did pick Gauntlet. I was playing D&D last night. Yes, I play D&D. Second edition in the house. At my friend's house, technically. So anyway, we had zombies coming, and somebody just kept asking, okay, where's the monster generator? And I was like, it's fine as long as no one shoots the food. And then I started playing this on my phone, and I got 50 experience points. It was awesome.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, the game is Gauntlet, which I was actually surprised I have not done before. And also, since the arcade one, as I recall, did not have music, I picked the NES Gauntlet one for having background music. So you can play as Thor the Warrior, Merlin the Wizard, Thyra the Valkyrie, or Quester the Elf. They have their own powers, their own strengths. And so you have the warrior, who is the strongest hand-to-hand. The wizard has the best magic, of course. The elf is the fastest, and the Valkyrie has the best armor. So basically, you have to go through giant mazes and kill a bunch of creatures, and you have to destroy the generators in them so that they just don't keep throwing shit at you. There are no bosses, but you do have an enemy that's just called Death that will drain your health, but you can kill it. You can kill Death. You can kill Death in the face. So basically, when your health reaches 0, you die. You can put in another coin and get another life. So basically, it's just a really... I'm not the biggest Gauntlet fan, I will admit this, but it is a pretty fun game if you've got other people playing it with you. It also had a narrator that we used the TI TMS 5220C speech chip that would say things like, "Shots do not hurt other players, yet. Remember, don't shoot food. Elf, shot the
Remember,
food.
don't shoot food.
Yes. Warrior needs food.
Valkyrie
Badly.
needs food badly.
Yes. Things like that.
I've not seen such bravery.
I
It
don't
sounds
remember
almost
that one.
like the speak and spell too.
Or when you're playing with Dark Sakura.
Someone shot the food.
Bitch, I will cut you. I will shoot your food. Okay, that's it. We need the new OLR Dream game. It's called OLR Gauntlet. Someone make OLR Gauntlet. I will figure out a way to ROM hack Gauntlet.
So it's OLR Gauntlet, and it would be what? Me, you, Loki, and I guess Jason would be the fourth, or Bobby. So you guys have to pick if it's going to be Jason or Bobby as the
I
fourth.
say they're all ferrets scurrying around the dungeon, and the clips vary between
no,
the voices
it
of
would
the
be
four of you.
us. It would be us.
Or it could
like-
be Shane, who attacks with the power of apathy.
No, I think Jason has put in enough hours
Yes,
on air.
That's true.
that
That's true.
Jason will have earned his
His stripes is the fourth. Yeah.
semi-official fourth host. Mm-hmm. Besides the chat, we just or we have a giant chat room just following along that looks like an IRC window.
Well, that's what we're doing is we're going through this giant chat room, and it's all
Yeah.
trolls that are in the chat room trying to kill us.
And rabid ferrets.
Yeah. And, the game says such things like, "Bitch, I will cut you."
And like you have the secret goal of finding Sanrio under a bed.
Retreat to Pinkberry.
Yeah, all of our food icons are Pinkberry.
Don't shoot Pinkberry. Let's see. Dark Tetsuya in chat at live.vognetwork.com says, "Can we get Loki as Tingle to be the elf?" Sure.
No.
Loki is definitely
I
the elf.
was actually thinking that Rob would make a good elf because you're fast.
I want to be the wizard.
I'd have to be the Valkyrie.
You have
'cause
to
I
be the
boobs.
Valkyrie. You have to be the Valkyrie. And Jason could be the warrior. And I could be there you go. Come on, Loki's the elf. Come on.
Are you the fastest Loki?
I don't know.
Sadly, out of this group, probably. I don't know. Dark Sakura might be a little faster, but she has to be the Valkyrie. So.
Butchikov says, Shane, no, I don't want to get the food. See, I'm talking about OLR Gauntlet. If we did VOG Gauntlet, then it would be a little bit different. You'd actually be able, you'd have multiple choices of characters or like skins for your characters.
There you go.
We'd have the special tingle skin for Loki.
Unlocked when you choose green. Any other color can be something else.
There is a game out there where you can play Loki as Tingle. It's just a lot of you never found it. So I'm just saying, maybe you want to go revisit a game we were selling the shit out of on this show about 2 months ago and go see if you missed something. Anyway.
So basically the game could be very, very, very difficult. And as you got further into the game, you actually did have, you could actually hurt your other players with friendly fire. It used a joystick and it had 2 buttons, one for fire, one for magic. Magic also starts the game because the magic, ooh. There were some people who were very, very good at the game until they did a ROM update that reduced the extra shot and extra shot power and extra shot speed for Warrior and Wizard, and added a points-based difficulty system so that it made it really hard to get from 1 to 7 without dying. And level 4 was actually designed so that the food drops would block monsters from swarming on the player. So that got removed out of that because then you could just sort of bend the game over. Gauntlet 2 came out, and Valkyrie and Elf did not receive extra food removal penalties. Only Warrior and Wizard would do that. Valkyrie and Elf would receive all of the default food that their difficulty allowed them to. There was also a big dispute going on about this. where for the port that came out, that basically Ed Logg, who was a co-creator of Asteroids and Centipede, was credited for the game design for the arcade version and the NES version, and John Palovich, who was, I believe, another was actually against that, saying that the original concept came from a game called Dandy that was for the Atari 800 computer, and the game that he designed. So yeah, big bunch of crap out of that. There were tons and tons of ports. We had a DOS, Apple II, Atari 8-bit, MSX, NES, Atari Lynx, Apple II GS, Master System, Mega Drive, Genesis as Gauntlet 4, Atari ST, Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC, ZX Spectrum. There also was released on the arcade Midway Treasures for GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, and Windows. Gauntlet 2 sometimes was the only one converted for some of those as well. There was a Game Boy version of Gauntlet 2. The NES version was the big one that it was pretty much the big departure from the way the arcade version worked. It kept the formula and the cast of characters, but it did new levels. It had a different quest. You had to actually retrieve the sacred orb from the 100th level. It had, you could get portions of a password in certain clue rooms throughout the first 99 levels. And it was also one of the few licensed Tengen cartridges. The only other ones that were officially licensed Tengen releases, besides Gauntlet, was Pac-Man and RBI Baseball. And it actually was re-released as an unlicensed game after the split from Nintendo. The Mega Drive version was Gauntlet in Japan, and in the US it was released as Gauntlet 4 with a new soundtrack and original game modes that had quest mode, battle mode, and record mode. There was a DS version that was developed by Backbone.
I forgot about that.
Yep. There was the DOS version, like I said, the Spectrum. There were a bunch of other versions. There's even a cell-phone version that's for Java, ME, and Brew that was done by TKO Software. There's also Gauntlet: The Deeper Dungeons. That was an expansion pack for the original Gauntlet with 512 new levels, and required the original. There might
be such thing
game.
as too many levels.
You know what? Yeah, but they said that people are basically agreed that it is not as great.
Yeah.
And then of course we've had sequels. You know, there was the Gauntlet Dark Legacy and all that. But nothing I think touches the original. But still.
Oh, Gauntlet Legends is a hell of a lot of fun. That was one of my favorites.
Dark Legacy specifically wasn't as much. I don't even remember what they tried to change. I remember I didn't like it, but Legends I did enjoy very, very much.
This reboot where they've kind of Diablo-fied it a little bit, I'm really looking forward to. It should be interesting.
I mean, would we have had a Diablo if not for Gauntlet? Would we have had a Gauntlet if not for Rogue?
Who knows? Hard to say. Is that it?
Actually, it also just something that's funny that I think is great. You remember when Dragon Magazine used to review fantasy video games?
I do.
And
well, I mean, I wasn't around at the time.
The Mac version. You were around in 1989, Rob.
Oh God, I thought it was earlier than that.
But the Mac version was reviewed in Dragon 150.
Huh.
And it got a 4 out of 5 stars around the time. Computer and Video Games did the Amstrad version and said it had great graphics, good sound, and perfect playability. So, yeah, it's the multiple ports of this game have gotten very high reviews. So, there you go.
All right.
Gauntlet.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, your classic game of the week. Gauntlet. All right.
That didn't time as well as I
hoped. It was a little bit delayed, wasn't it?
Whatever.
Soundboard's a little slow, isn't it? All right. Fine, it worked. All right. We got plenty more show to come.
You know what?
What?
If we were going to do our own voiceovers, for our version, it'd be like, look at that warrior. Bitch done shot the food.
You shot the food? Bitch!
I know, right?
All right, anyhow. We're going to take a break, guys. When we come back, there is plenty more OLR to come. Lots and lots and lots of news. The Fugal question of the week comes back this week. And the emails, FUs of the week, and your calls at 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. Add us now so you can get through a little later in the show. When we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio, live on this Sunday evening, May the 18th, 2014, episode number 553 of our show. And thanks for joining us. You know, whether you're here live or whether you're here via the podcast feed or Stitcher or whatever service it is you use to listen to internet radio shows, we really appreciate your support. And, you know, I do just want to say thank you. You know, earlier in the show, I talked about how we are going to be covering E3 this year, and it looked a little grim at one point that we might not be able to do that because, you know, the folks at E3, they use some really weird methods to gauge like how big sites are. They use Alexa, which I kind of thought like, didn't Alexa toolbar kind of go out of style with GeoCities? So I always thought that was like really weird. But, you know, we were able to kind of show them some other things like, you know, our ranking on Stitcher and some of the other, you know, ways that, you know, we do kind of have.
You do realize we've been doing this for like 12 years.
They don't care. They don't care, right? It's all about how many people, right? So I just want to say, you know, your guys' support has really helped us be able to do that. So I just want to thank you guys. You know, those of you that have left reviews on Stitcher and iTunes, you know, that really does help. So thank you very much. So, yeah, I hope we make you proud. I don't want to just go to E3 and play everything and then come back the next week and be like, hey, guess what, guys? I played all this stuff at E3 and, oh, this is good and this is good. Because I kind of hear a lot of that, and what I really want is to try and, you know, not everybody does this at E3 because there's just a lot of, like, very publicist types of people. But if there are designers that we are able to connect with, especially think of it this way, we probably won't get the AAA people, but we'll probably get the B people, you know, that are kind of in that line between indie and big game. We can probably get those people pretty easy. So if you have questions about the games, we want to take your thoughts directly to those people. It is the Voice of Geeks Network. So we look forward to, you know, presenting your voices at E3.
And Oculus does have a booth.
They sure do, and you know Bobby's all over that. So, and we will try to be the voice for you guys at E3. So, you know, just appreciate all the support.
That's why it's 2.5 people. I'll be playing enough games for all three of us.
If you don't have to wait in all these lines
Yeah,
and
tell me
whatever.
about
So.
You can be the designated waiting Nintendo line person.
Yeah, right.
So I hope you enjoy
We're almost
standing
in. We're
for 8
almost
hours.
in. Come on. Get back to this hall. Let's go.
Although I don't imagine what they would be showing that would have such a giant line unless it's like a playable Zelda. Playable Zelda is the only thing I can think of.
Smash Brothers.
I don't
I have
know.
a version of
Well, they're having a Smash Brothers tournament, so obviously Smash Brothers is going to be finished.
I don't think I'd wait in a huge line to
pretty
play
close.
it. I could watch it and get a pretty good grasp of what's coming. You know what I mean?
Probably Zelda.
But I'm not going to come on the show and be like, I played it if I didn't play it. I'll
One
just say,
can
like,
dream
yeah, I
of a
watched
new Excite truck that doesn't involve, you know, mini games in the middle of the race. But I think that's just a pipe dream. Hey, but if I learn enough programming, someday.
SSJ 100 Matt says, fully expect Jason to get my NHL questions answered. So you better get on that.
Yes, there will be an NHL 15. Yes, it will be hockey. Yes, they will update the roster. Yes, there will be fights.
It's
yes,
also, I
you
think,
will be able to
next-gen
customize
only.
it. I mean, I don't mean to poo-poo it. They've been every year they have refined something to be a lot better. It's just I don't know. I guess I'm not into the game enough to know what to ask for the next year's game.
Yes, there will be a zombie mode.
Yes, there will be a puck.
Bochi-
A zombie mode.
Bochikawa in chat at live.fognetwork.com says, the B people tend to be enthusiastic, right? That means good answers instead of form question answers. Absolutely right. So, you know,
Remember that-
I don't want to disappoint you guys. You know, if you have questions about the big stuff, we'll try. But I'm just saying you're going to be more likely to get it from the...
Remember that one time we sat down with, was it the Mad Balls guys?
Yeah, they were very cool.
Yeah,
they were very
they
nice.
were.
You know, we could ask them anything and they would have answered it. So, you know, it's those guys that are going to really want to talk about their games because they need help with the coverage. There's some games that aren't going to need help with the coverage. So they just bring out a press release and everybody copy paste it on their site as exclusive, you know, and all this stuff. So, you know, anyway. I don't want to spend too much time on this topic. We'll kind of get into it more as E3 quickly approaches, but I'm looking forward to, and I just want to, again, thank you guys. It wouldn't be possible without your guys' support. So, you know, as we always say at the end of the show, tell a friend or two about the show. That's all we want. And hopefully they have Alexa toolbar installed.
I don't see how
I'm kidding.
I don't see how we can be surprised about what's going to be at E3. I mean, after all, the official E3 roster list came out. So
What is up with all that crap?
they do this every year,
Every
and
year.
every year some dumbass falls for it. Oh my god, it leaked out. No, it didn't. It never fucking leaked. No one has on a piece of paper of what is coming out for like everything. That's just stupid. Nobody has that.
Yeah, no, nobody has that. It's too much. Keep in mind, guys, Nintendo a few years ago wouldn't even say what the new... they wouldn't even tell the people that made the signs what the new Wii was called. It just said new Nintendo console experience on the signs. Nowhere was the Wii U branding to be found. That's how few people really knew what was going on. So you think they're just going to have some Word doc out there that has everything listed? Come on.
But it has the header.
Oh, it has the logo. It's official.
The header, yeah.
It's an Arial black. I mean, how common is that font? Please. Dark Sakura just had a moment where she rolled her eyes to the back of her head. That was awesome.
That was Arial Black.
Huh? I should have just said Comic Sans and then had to clean up vomit.
Papyrus.
All right. All right, let's clean up our act a little bit with some rapid fire gaming news and quickly
And it better all be set in Helvetica.
All right, well, Loki, start us off and use a pretty font.
A game I actually backed on Kickstarter, Among the Sleep, is actually going to be coming out on PlayStation 4, and it's going to have support for Morpheus. You remember that's Sony's VR thing. In fact, actually, it makes sense because if they have support for Oculus, so why not support for Morpheus whenever the hell that's coming out? But it looks pretty interesting. If you're not familiar with Among the Sleep is a survivor horror game or survival horror game set from the perspective of a toddler. So you're crawling around the ground and stuff like that, and all this creepy shit happens in your house, and your parents are gone, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So it's.
I wonder if it'd have uncontrollable sobbing in it because that's what toddlers do too. I kind of want to play it.
But apparently, yeah, you can walk around, but you're not as fast as you are, if you crawl. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Look cool. Look kind of creepy. So
the game does sound like a legitimately creepy premise, and you're literally defenseless, probably defenseless. And I guess Amnesia was the most popular recent memory game to kind of follow that trend. But to have anything else like that, this game sounds really fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, in fact, they sent me an update the other day about the game, and I never actually checked it. But yeah, it looks cool. So can't wait to check that out. Also, this weekend there was the Mario Kart 8 test drive, I guess, at 2,700 retail GameStop locations.
I went to a GameStop just out of complete randomness, and you guys know I don't usually shop there, but I was that bored, okay? We were going to Target, and there was one right next door, and I was like, maybe they've got another, buy two, get one free used game sale, and maybe I could be suckered into it this time. Let's go look. So I go over to GameStop, and then I see the Wii U thing set up, and I'm like, oh yeah, the Mario Kart thing was supposed to be this weekend. I'm like, why is nobody here? And then I look at the thing, and there's nothing. It says pre-order it now, coming out May 30th, but nothing on the thing. Nope, just a normal kiosk that has screenshots and videos. Yeah, I was a little disappointed about that.
So
way to go, GameStop.
Best Buy had no problem, having stuff, available to play. Actually, are they doing that at Best Buy again?
I believe so. Oh, actually, I don't know. I don't know if they did come out and say that yet.
I thought they did because I thought it was Smash Brothers maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think they did say that some of that was going to be playable. I think they did come out and say that already.
But and then also it was confirmed, I guess, that Mario Kart 8 voice chat in lobbies is only going to be in lobbies and only available if you're playing in it's available in friend-only lobbies. So I don't know if that means that it's actually in the lobby itself or only in matches that you have that are private matches with your friends.
I would assume it's just the private matches. And that's, that's okay, because I don't need to hear the strangers and some of the 12-year-olds that are probably going to be playing the game that'll get on there and go, I'm gonna whoop your ass, bitch. And some of that stuff. I don't need to hear it. But it'll be fun when I want to hop online with some of my podcast frenzies, over at Koopa Club and Bobby and some of the other people I like to play online games with, and hear them all. In the lobby will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Of course, then I'll have to hear Bobby. I'm gonna kick your ass, bitch. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Booby Black Wolf.
Yes, that's what I'll do in retaliation. I'll just keep messing up his name. It'll be fun.
But also, I guess they announced that in Smash Brothers they're going to be having female Animal Crossing villager characters that'll be playable. In fact, there's going to be 4 villager characters available, 2 female, 2 male. So yay! And I'm sure they control all the same. And why this needed to be an announcement, I don't fucking know, because it's just padding the fucking roster.
Well, It's kind of cool though that they're using the different skins to make things a little more diverse. I think that's cool.
Okay, where's my female Mario then?
Well, but see, here's the thing: Mario is a character as a singular, but you do get the Wii Fit trainer as a male. Like they have that, and they've mixed it up a little bit.
I know, it's dumb. Whatever. I just think it's dumb. It's like, okay, cool. Let's put out a press.
It's not like the OMG news of the century.
There will be different skin colors for the characters. Let's put out a press release for that one.
But as far as like your weekly Smash Brothers update, it's fine. It's fine. It's not like a huge deal, but it's cool.
I like how that the other male character looks even crazier than the first villager, so maybe there'll be more memes, created from it.
I wish you'd be able to import your own villager.
Now that would be Awesome.
That'd be cool.
Announced? Can you use your Mii in Smash Brothers?
Yeah, no, they haven't announced that.
I think amongst all the character wank we've talked about on this show, the whole Pac-Man and everything, the most obvious thing that's sitting right in front of us is your Mii will be the character.
Nope.
A Mii
Why?
doesn't have an obvious moveset where everybody else has a game, a canon.
Unless
that's
your
not
Mii is a
Not even gonna go there.
Animal-
Okay, your
create
thought?
your own character.
Not gonna go there. Well, it's character, but because with Mii's you can draw a penis on their face if you really want to.
Yeah, but you can play your Mii in Mario Kart. So want to race my penis cart?
I understand that, but I'm just
Things I will only say to Loki one time in my life for $200.
It's the Daily Double.
Whatever. Yeah, cool that they have female characters. Cool that they're representing all genders. Well, all two genders in the game.
There are multiple
more than two
genders.
Are you? Oh God, Loki.
No, I understand that. That's why I said all two genders, because they're only representing two genders in the game. I didn't say all.
It was a highbrow joke.
Apparently that went over your head. Maybe because you're sitting down.
On the heels of Tomodachi Life, that was
Yes,
Oh,
I'm so
no, we're
ignorant
not.
out there that I don't realize that people identify with other genders other than male and female. Gee, really? What year is this? I mean, seriously. Come on.
Get with the times, Nintendo.
I'm just saying it. Yes, okay. And if you want, I mean, they kind of look like dolls anyway, so they're not really. It's a skin, okay? It's a skeleton of a character
Look.
with a skin.
Loki, next time, just come out and say you can play a female Animal Crossing villager. Woohoo! And then done. You're done.
No, here's what they need to do. I'm sorry, here's what they need to do instead of just playing as the villagers. They need to fucking have all the characters from Animal Crossing in it, like all the different villagers.
Ed.
Like,
Because you want Jamie to be able to kick the living shit out of Ed for real.
yeah, exactly.
And punch that diva bitch in the face.
Because that would be awesome.
All right. Anyhow,
As assists, like how they have the Pokeballs and stuff. They should have like a hole you can dig in the ground and dig somebody up or something.
Jason, please.
You
help.
have to dig up Resetti.
Jason, save us.
dig up. Well, I guess I get it.
And then he yells at the other person until they fall off the screen.
He's an assist character. Continuing on with the Nintendo news, brings word that Nintendo of America has updated its rewards for you to spend your hard-earned coins. I've been maxed out since I started walking after getting back home. I have been maxed out at 300 coins for a very, very long time, and I'm never going to use this on the Street Pass minigames. Why the hell don't I pick myself up a game? That would just be genius. And on that note, what I can pick up this month with said hard-earned coins is the Super Metroid on the Wii U specifically for 200 coins, Kirby's Adventure for the 3DS on 200 coins. These are all, of course, Virtual Console games. You can pick them up on the platform that I'm listing. So on the Wii U, you can pick up Super Metroid for 200 coins. On the Wii or the Wii U, you can pick up Mario Kart 64 for 250. And on the Nintendo 3DS, Kirby's Adventure for 200 coins and Brain Age Express for 200 coins. Wasn't that bundled on...
Kirby time.
It was DSi, that wasn't 3DS. Never mind.
Dart Tetsuya is saying, wait, you can use the pedometer coins on Nintendo rewards?
Is
No,
that
I
not
don't-
the same
no,
thing?
No,
Oh, no,
it's
this
not.
is... Sorry. Oh, sorry.
If that were
These
the
are-
case, then I'd just get a 3DS and stick it in a paint shaker forever.
But you only get 10 coins a day,
No,
isn't
no,
it?
you're mixing up the coins with what you
with
get
the
at Club
rewards
Nintendo.
where you register the code in the box. My bad. I am so sorry.
This is why he's 0.5. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm being a bitch. I'm kidding.
Yes, you are.
He's a stupid bitch.
You know, it's funny. I had that misconception like a year and a half ago, and because I never actually went to buy anything, it just stuck.
Well, maybe Nintendo needs to explore other forms of currency than that same 8-bit coin they've had.
They're not going to let you have games.
What
for
about
free.
rupees? Can't one be coins and one be rupees? Come on.
Rupees
people.
representing dollars and coins representing coins.
All right, next story.
Fine. Continuing on the Nintendo news, as I said, and taking it to E3, as we speculated. Nintendo is going to hold 2 developer discussions. The first one, perhaps unsurprisingly, for the new Smash Brothers, and a second, as of yet, unannounced 3D title will be discussed specifically on June 11th. And then, of course, June 10th is going to be a developer discussion involving Super Smash Brothers. What could it be? Who knows? We'll find out in like 2.5 weeks.
I have this document here, and it's printed in papyrus, so you know it's legit, with a Nintendo logo on it. And it says it's going to be Castlevania Symphony of the Night 2.
They already made.
You know that's a
sequels to that
legit
game.
thing on
It's
one of
actually-
those rumored documents.
Yeah, back in '99.
You know what? If that was going to be the case, because if you think about it, the first one was Dracula X. In Japan, Nocturne in the Moonlight was called XX. So if they were going to continue the
Dracula
X
Triple
series,
X.
we would have Dracula Triple, would have Kumajo Dracula Triple X, which would have
Nice.
extra succubus action.
Of course, we're going to all feel like fucking assholes if this turns out to be true.
I'm not going to feel like an
No,
asshole
but
because I didn't
But
condone or deny it.
You give very good evidence as to why they would not call it Symphony of the Night 2. You're right. Symphony of the Night was 2.
It would have another like name of something. It would be okay. We had Rondo of Blood. We had Nocturne in the Moonlight or Symphony of the Night. So
Let's just call
it would
We Love
have
Bram Stoker and get it over with.
Dance in the Dark with Lady Gaga.
Dance in the Dark. With Lady Gaga would be replacing Shaft.
It would be a brand new game in the lines of what was it? Winx, where they're going to be sparkle vampires. So yeah.
Moving right along.
Wait, comment from the chat room.
Okay,
How about the chat room? Come on, we love the chatters. Live.vognetwork.com. Dark Tetsuya says, Symphony of the Night 2. Yeah, not without Koji Igarashi, they're not. Here's the... look, again, I don't want to give credit to this rumor, but that's the time when they do that shit, is when it's like, oh, so-and-so's not here to stop me.
Bitch, it's on.
So I just, like, yeah.
Oh, Ikuma JP.
All right, moving
Dracula
on.
Triple X Bukake Edition.
BMX Triple X. That's what Dracula Triple X was. All right.
See, it would be Maria running around naked with an even worse accent. Is what it would be.
That's just because she swallowed. Let's go to the next story.
Please.
A recent and ongoing Hey, Rob.
Get a hold
Clean
of
it up
yourself
or
over there.
get out. A recent and ongoing charity event for deployed Marines and other enlisted servicemen, Operation Supply Drop, which gives games to servicemen and women deployed overseas. And in a unsurprising article, in all of 26 minutes, the website was brought down by attackers. The direct route going to OperationSupplyDrop.com is obviously it could be impacted at times, but they do have a Facebook account you can go to, and their address that you can that you can make PayPal donations to is donations@OperationSupplyDrop.com. If you feel so inclined, you can go to PayPal, which presumably will not be down, and send money directly to that address and help out, because of all of the things to attacking people whose primary connection not to their loved ones is actually the new releases going on back home is certainly a worthwhile event to contribute to.
And this is taking games that they're sending to military folks.
Yeah.
So these guys are out there fighting for your freedom to troll, basically, and your freedom to be an asshole. And those are the guys you're going to go after. Like, what a bunch of fucking cowards.
So
like,
the
seriously.
interesting thing about this one is that the article is particularly small, and I don't think anybody's claimed responsibility. This is very, very quickly likely overseas hacktivism. Like these aren't United States trolls, but they're people that, whether in that country or not, are probably causing this to happen as hard.
A very logical answer, unfortunately.
Or people that are
A very
in the US
shitty but logical answer.
Yeah.
So
Help them out. Everybody deserves to play the game. Everybody should be able to play the games they want to, and if you're willing to help out, absolutely do so.
All right, Darth Sakura.
Well, we have a few things, if they would ever load. So, oh, God, I hate this. Sorry about that. I'm going to go to the ones that actually do load. There is a confirmed game called Pokemon Art Academy. And it's basically, from what I can see, it's drawing Pokemans. Learn to draw Pokemans.
How hard can it be to draw a Jigglypuff? Christ. Even I could probably draw a Jigglypuff.
That swirl is difficult to get straight.
The swirl is a polyworld, Jason. God damn it, learn your Pokemon.
Jigglypuff has the little haired swirl.
Anyway, also...
I'll never admit I'm wrong.
Kim Jong-un, who is the current asshole in charge of North Korea, is in a side-scrolling shooter game called Glorious Leader.
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, his dad was probably a bigger asshole, but... and it's supposed to be released on PC and mobile devices. But it actually has him and Dennis Rodman, who are the main characters. The Glorious Leader there is on a unicorn and shoots down paratroopers. And
why do they have to make him awesome? Yeah. Like, he rides on a unicorn. Like, that's awesome. Why do you have to make him awesome?
I think it's a big parody.
Do you know who should be in that game? Me. I'll be Glorious Leader. I'm not as big of an asshole.
Also,
sometimes
Gung Ho is bringing out 6 more Japanese PS1 classics to the PlayStation Network. And I hate the way these sites load on my iPad. But there will be Sarara's Little Shop. That's basically what Rectier was before there was Rectier. Tokyo 23-ku Seifuku War. It's in a world where school uniforms have been banned. There's a Dragon Beat Legend of Pinball, Heroin Dream 1, 2, and Neo Planet. So there you go.
All right.
Destructoid, fix your webpage. Make it mobile friendly.
There's a lot of sites out there that need a little help in the mobile department, and there. With so many people that view things on tablets these days, too, you know. All right. We are going to go over to our Facebook and our Google Plus fan communities and go to our question of the week. When you take Facebook and Google Plus and slam them together, you get Foogle. Or, starting next week, the Fwitch question of the week. On this week's Fwitch question of the week, we asked about rumors and scuttlebutt and things overheard in a hair salon. It is about E3. So, E3 is just around the corner, which kicks off a flood of E3 rumors en masse. One such rumor, which we gave our listeners, was the story about the Halo 1 through 4 compilation that Loki talked about earlier in the show. There's also another rumor involving a Nintendo lineup and, big games from all the companies. So, which rumors do you believe? Are there any E3 rumors that you are positive are true at this moment? Why? So let's see what the listeners had to say about E3 rumors. So going to the Facebook, or as we call it now, Foculus. Going to Foculus, we have Andy R., who quite simply says, and even got some likes for this, Andy R. just puts it bluntly, I believe none. None shall pass. I take every E3 rumor with a bag of salt. Awesome Unicorn says, I treat E3 rumors like fan fiction. Totally
Is
fun.
Awesome Unicorn being written by Kim Jong-un?
Dennis Rodman.
That's an awkward visual. Let's not go there. All right, totally fun to think about, but reality starts to seem too boring if you spend too much time on them. That's one of my favorite answers ever. Blood Drunk says E3 2014. Gavin rolls on stage. Giant Orange 3 appears in the background. Crowd tenses up. People burst into tears of joy as Gabe announces Half-Life 3, part of the Orange Box 2, which includes Portal 3, Left 4 Dead 3, Hat Fortress 3, and Ricochet 2. Gavin drops the mic and walks away.
Gaben.
I always say Gavin.
Gabe
I know it's Gabe
Newell.
Newell, but I just say Gavin because I think of Yo Gabba Gabba. I don't know. It's just weird. All right.
I thought you were thinking of what's his face from.
So
I can't think of the band.
Blood Drunk says, "I want to believe." You know, wasn't that the winner of our? Because and we'll do this in 2 weeks. We'll do our annual list of E3 rumor I want to come
All right,
true.
so-
And last year we had Gaben or whatever comes out on stage and says Half-Life 3 available on Steam now. Drops the mic.
All right, here you go. Now, here you go. To kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier
Okay.
about that like ridiculous dream scenario at Sony. So you have is it Jack Trenton on there? You have the actor playing Kevin Butler, and then Gabe Newell walks out on stage. Says not only will Half-Life 3 be on Steam, but it will also be exclusive to the PlayStation 4. They all jump in the air, do a high five, slow motion, done.
And then they make out awkwardly.
Okay, I had to take it there. Just-
All right. Red the Haze. It's like a congratulatory thing like the European soccer players do.
it's like the MTV Music Awards.
And then Christina
It's like,
Aguilera comes out and talks about how we're all going to get dirty. All right. Red the Haze over on Foculus says, not really a rumor, but I am all conspiracy theorist mode with a lot of signs point Sony announcing support for the Vita and Vita TV at E3. By signs, I mean references to Vita TV support for games like Killzone Merc, timing of PS4 remote play on Vita TV recently coming out, cheap $30 pricing for a first-party title like Freedom Wars on Amazon, and even that recent enabling of all PS1 and PSP titles on Vita. Of course, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic too, Red the Haze. That seems very logical that would happen.
I'd rather be Optimus Prime than optimistic.
Nemesis 47 says, I'm seeing all the rumors from Sony. Among them, I'm hoping isn't true is God of War 4. A fourth game isn't needed since Part 3 ended on a good and sensible note that made sense, and a Part 4 to the game isn't needed. Halo is knocking down your door saying, what up? Because you could say the same thing about the Halo franchise, but they did it anyway. Not to discount your opinion, though, because I understand when you kind of want a developer to just, it's time to stop and move on to something else, but I'm sure there'll be an Uncharted 4 as well. I'm still holding hope for Beyond Good and Evil 2, since that game needs a part 2. I'm also hoping for a new Hitman, news on Kingdom Hearts 3. Ooh, that's one we're not talking about enough. I'd like to see some Kingdom Hearts 3. A little more of
Final
that.
Fantasy 15.
It's because we're still waiting for the HD remake of the second
Ooh,
one.
do you think Final Fantasy 15 will be playable on the show floor? Oh, my body is ready. Speaking of making out awkwardly. And news on WWE 2K15. Those are our answers from Facebook. So let's go over to Twitch Plus and some of the answers over there.
ActDeft Plus.
Well, we do have our first
Google
answer
Deft.
from ActDeft, Google Deft, who says, I try not to believe any rumors out there unless they're truly from a trusted source that I know of, but I can't help to get excited for some of them, like the supposed list of titles shown for Nintendo Digital event thing that features GameCube Virtual Console titles. Granted, the list was too awesome to be true, but it did get me excited for a slim chance to see something like that on Nintendo's side. To play devil's advocate for a minute, though, like, why the fuck not would GameCube games not show up on Virtual Console? It's a logical conclusion. Can't Wii U games play Wii games?
Yes.
Couldn't the Wii play GameCube games? Because they've been using the same hardware for like 10 years now. But, I mean, couldn't it happen easily?
The excuse might be that it's emulating an emulator. I don't know.
But I'm telling you,
I think it should be feasible. They're pretty close.
people forget F-Zero was like, it wasn't true HD, but it was progressive scan, and it looked really fucking good.
Yeah, it did.
Or just re-release the GameCube games like they did with the new Wii control things, but just do like some new HD thing where they upscale older titles like F-Zero GX. Maybe not Mario Kart Double Dash because one, it's Mario Kart Double Dash, and two, Mario Kart 8's coming out, but re-release them, and at least they would pad their release schedule. That would help them a little bit.
If I remember correctly, the GameCube support is excuse me. GameCube support is not possible natively, but it's because it's just a part of the Wii. Homebrew unlocked it within months of the Wii U's release, if not much quicker than that.
Travis H. on Google says, E3 is like a holiday for us gamers. I try not to listen to the hype train as it toots by weeks leading up to the show. I like sitting in front of my computer or TV watching the live stream as it happens. Get your popcorn ready. And
the truth.
Reddertainment, last but not least, says, did you hear the rumor about Sally and Brad getting together at the winter formal? Aren't they just totes adorbs? Hee hee. Also, I heard Jennifer Aniston's pregnant and getting married, or is not pregnant, or just broke up with Brad. Isn't that sad, funny, tragic, awesome? Hee hee. Yeah, I don't put much stock in rumors. The only rumors I listened to was by Fleetwood Mac in 1976. Best answer to end on. Thank you very much. Great answers there. From our Foculus and Twitch Plus communities. Very good job. If you want to pay attention for future questions, check us out over on Facebook.com or Google Plus, of course. All right, let's move on.
What about our answers?
Oh, do you have some answers? Yes.
No.
My answer is green.
I think the Fleetwood Mac rumors answer is good enough.
It's a good enough note to end on.
It is a great enough note to end on. All right.
Now Rhiannon is stuck in my head.
Dun, 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 dun. I need to get Rock Band out. We're going to play Don't Stop after the show. All right. Loki, let's get back into some news.
All right. So it's another week, so another lawsuit. And this time, of course, Nintendo is being targeted again. It is due to, I guess, a complaint by Philips, patent 379, virtual body control device. And I guess they're saying the Wii, the Wii Remote Plus controller, Wii Remote controller, Wii Nunchuck, Motion Plus, Balance Board, Wii U Gamepad, and Wii Mini, all being all infringing on that. And I guess they sent a notice back in December of 2011 and provided Nintendo with, I guess, Nintendo's knowledge with the evidence that they were infringing on that. And now I guess there's a second instance of that. Was it user? I hate these really generic patents. User interface system based on pointing devices. Okay. And their infringement has been deliberate and willful, apparently. And so now they're seeking trial by jury. That's dumb. They're just mad because those Philips CDI games didn't turn out very well. That's what I think.
This little lawsuit is awfully late. Isn't there limitations on how? I mean, I guess there's not, but
usually more than a decade.
Come on,
a couple years.
This seems very desperate, and it is kind of amusing that it's Philips, and considering the history. But even outside of that, it's how many people have tried to sue Nintendo over the Wii, and did any of them win? Actually, I take that back. I think one of them did.
There was the one that was suing everybody over their controllers.
The whole patent
the
system's all messed up anyways. The fact that you can patent things like whatever this user interface system based on pointing devices.
Like a computer with a mouse that's existed in a concept since the fucking 70s. There's even a buddy of mine, a coworker of mine, has a TV that you actually, I don't know where the camera is, but you take the remote, and if you pull the trigger, you actually get a pointing device. Now that I think about it, pretty sure it's a Philips. It could be a Sharp or something like that, but shockingly, you have a remote, you point it at the screen, and a little finger shows up that allows you to choose the smart TV elements and change your features and toggle settings.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. I doubt they're gonna win, and it's not gonna stop the sales of the Wii U or anything. If anything that stops the sales of Wii U, it's gonna be the lack of games on the console, or the fact that it's underpowered, or that other stuff.
All right. Well, moving on to a game that was actually our classic game of the week a few weeks ago when Shane was with us. Dark Sakura wasn't. And then Loki loves this game and wishes it would go free. Well, I do have some news about Final Fantasy XI for its 12th anniversary. The game is going to be getting a new update. Not going free, sorry. However, on May 15th, a new patch is coming out to Final Fantasy XI that will be adding new weapons, missions, a new campaign, and more. There's a whole teaser video out there, which apparently just shows some of the stuff in the game. I know Shane was getting really excited about this, so it's pretty cool. Some of the add-ons, I guess, are now free, like the Visions of Abyssia and the Heroes of Abyssia. You can access all this content if you have the expansions with Rise of the Zillert and Wings of the Goddess. So that's pretty cool. So there's a lot to still experience in the game for a pretty low cost, but it does still have a monthly fee, which does continue to be the barrier.
Yeah, like
for
I
some
think
people
the
to
base
do it.
game now, like with all the expansions, is
Oh, yeah.
like $10.
Yeah,
it's like super cheap.
A lot of MMOs are pretty cheap.
And plus,
to
you get
into.
30 days free. So it's like, it's almost cheaper to buy the game over and over and over again, except they don't let you do that, unfortunately.
What's the subscription on it now?
On 11?
Yeah.
Oh, same as it always was. Well,
See?
it didn't go up, but
Yeah,
no MMOs
but-
have that I can think of. They just
Yeah.
think of other ways to get money, like Warcraft will start selling you, cosmetic armor or something, So, all right. Well, there you go. If you want to check that out in Final Fantasy 11. Woohoo! Dark Sakura.
Well, this is a good thing. I don't know how many people have heard of Women in Games International, but basically it's an advocacy group, and they've just announced the new members on their advisory board. There's a statement that's said by their president and CEO, Belinda Van Sickle. Everyone involved with WIGI is passionate about making the video games industry more inclusive. We have all amazing ideas about outreach programs we can create to make that happen. So basically, just some of the different people on here, they're and people from that have been in the industry for a while. But the big thing to take from this, too, is that it's a group that I think definitely more gamers need to support, need to, participate in their outreach programs, need to bring more out so that we can see more inclusiveness and equality in games. So.
Well,
And the men in the room are quiet.
Well, to be fair, I was multitasking a little bit, as I sometimes do during the show, so I apologize. I was also kind of reading our chat room to see if they were saying anything on it, but I think it's they're still hung up on some of the 3DS versus 2DS and some of the emulation stuff that's going on there. So
Oh, I'm sorry. A woman was talking. I guess no one was listening.
it's delayed 45 seconds. Stop
joking,
it.
Rob.
All right.
But there is actually a good quote from one of the new board members, just as Wesley. I'm trying to see if I can find her name through the list. But she says, I want to continue the support of inclusion within the global gaming community, and I admire WIGI as an organization that does just that. And if you want to find out about them more, it's getwigi.com. You can learn more about the group.
Well, and I see that, part of their mission is to, promote diversity and so forth. And obviously that's a good thing. We need more diversity in all different aspects in the gaming industry. Absolutely.
So,
oh God, what?
So they have this advisory board. Would it be the Ouija board?
Actually, probably. That's clever. Except it doesn't steal your soul.
I want to punch you in the face, but that was actually really smart.
It
so
doesn't.
I can't.
They don't steal souls. They add souls to the gaming industry.
Good call. What do you think, though? I mean, in all seriousness, I'm going to ask a tough question that you might not like, Dark Sakura, but I've got to ask this. What can an advisory board really do? What can this... Okay, so they get together and they form up and they say, we're going to promote this. What can they really do?
Well, if developers actually give a shit about women, they'll speak with people they'll speak with the advocacy groups. Say, hey, here's our idea. This is what we're going to put in this. Do you have any input? What can we do to improve? And on top of that, they're doing things besides just, acting as an advisory board. They're having, they're doing sponsorships. They're actually having a party at E3 this year. They have a female game artist for Google Hangouts as an industry discussion. So they're not just doing things, they're putting the word out there. They're making sure that the idea stays public, and they're educating people out there. There's even actually a Girl Scout patch that they've created for girl gamers. It looks like a Zelda heart.
Now, that's kind of cool, like, at a younger age, kind of get people thinking, like, this is a career option for you. You can do this. That's pretty cool, I got to say.
They have another group that's called DLC Events, Drinks, Lectures, and Community, that they do quarterly to create, just discussion about what's going on in the industry in, a really, I guess, laid back arena. There's also another group called Women and Men and I'm trying to see exactly where this is located. Okay, this is on Santa Monica Boulevard in Los Angeles, and another one in San Francisco at Julian's Billiard Club. They do this the first Monday of every month from 7 to 9 with happy hour, where you basically meet and talk about, business. It's just a casual place to talk about the industry.
Julianne's or
Julian's Billiard Club.
Okay, then I don't know where that is. But there's a place.
4th Street, San Francisco.
Then they got the name wrong.
Yeah, they got the name wrong. It's
Yeah,
Jillian's.
Okay.
That's the Metreon.
Right next to the Metreon has like
Okay,
8
because
tables or
I'm just
something
reading
like
off the
that.
thing because the only place I go to over there is a Metreon.
Well,
For the
one-
folks in LA, the place is Bubsy's West, 3110 Santa Monica Boulevard. And again, that's the first Monday of every month from 7 to 9 for people in the industry to get together and talk about what's going on in games.
Ravens Dolphin in our chat over at live.vognetwork.com says, I like the Girl Scout patch. My sister is a pack mother, but my nieces suck at games, so they're out. Well, you know what? All the scouts can't do everything. You guys know this. I was actually a Cub Scout. I was a Cub Scout, and I got patches too, but I didn't get patches for like football or any of the sports-related ones. My patches were like, I don't know. Do they get patches for...
Rope tying.
Actually, you know what? What I did was they used to have these little events where you would build the little cars and they would race them. They'd have like the derby, and then there's
Like
the boats.
the Pinewood
Derby.
Pinewood Derby, those things.
Yeah.
That was the stuff I would get into, actually. So I probably have badges for that. 'cause
There's
I
an old
competed
man in our
those.
chat room now.
Is there really? Oh.
There is.
By the way,
Hi, Grandpa.
I saw Grandpa join the chat room, and I did want to just give a quick happy birthday shout out to Grandpa. He turned 68 over the past. No, he's 34, but he turned 34.
I can't wait till he's 37 because then I can give him the year of jokes that I had in a row.
But he celebrated today, even though his birthday was a couple days ago. So
Actually, if I can make another congratulations and I know a few of them may be listening, so to the adult B'nai Mitzvah class of Temple or Rishon, Mazel Tov,
Mazel Tov.
to hit major milestones at a later age.
All right.
Yeah.
To which I got a nice hearty fuck you, Ginger, in return. Well, you know what? I undo those birthday wishes. I hope your birthday sucked, Grandpa. I hope it absolutely was awful. I hope that food thing you went to today,
Bobby
I
had
hope you
his-
get diarrhea.
Bobby had
honestly.
his wriggling day.
That's right. Bobby Blackwolf had a birthday last Monday. So,
And apparently Ronchon's is coming
but
up.
see, here's the thing with Bobby. He chose to stop having birthdays at the age of 29.
So no more birthday for you. That's why I'm calling them wriggling days, because of Homestuck.
Oh my God!
It's
Everybody's
just his
having birthdays.
It's his 6th, 29th birthday.
Rama is turning 36 on Saturday. Everybody's having a stinking birthday.
Yeah, well, my birthday was last month, and that was the most important.
All right, Loki.
Oh, actually, one thing, see y'all. My husband also gets white hairs in his beard. He makes me pluck them. I've exposed this now on the internet.
You pluck mine too.
No, I'm not marrying you.
And now you know.
The more you know.
All right. Grand Theft Auto 5. So back when we last checked on Grand Theft Auto 5, it was selling a ton of copies. And it's still selling tons of copies. In fact, it is sold 33 million units. So that's a lot of copies. And Rockstar is promising a next-gen release this fiscal year. So they will have a next-gen game at sometime between now and March 2015. If I were to be a betting man, which I am, I'm going to say that it's probably going to be Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And on PC. Just saying. Yeah, I think that's possibly what it's going to be.
I think that's definitely what it's going to be.
Yeah. Just a guess. I mean, but then again, I'm just some random dude on Twitter. So
You're just some dude. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I don't know anything.
That's right.
And then, of course, Take-Two had a pretty good fiscal year and $1 billion in revenue. In fact, it was a net revenue of $2.35 billion for fiscal 2014. and with a 94% growth in revenue over its last year, which was $1.21 billion. So not bad. And it'd be interesting to see what else they have come out this year. God damn it, and put out the goddamn Grand Theft Auto 5 single player patch. I'm ready for that. We need some more content there, not necessarily online, because I've kind of given up online for now.
Tiger Claw in our chat over at live.vognetwork.com asks, what if Rockstar announces a new Red Dead Redemption?
I'd still be fine with that. That's a win-win too.
Yeah.
I just think
no complaints.
I just think that Grand Theft Auto 5 is incredibly popular, and that it's kind of they have the higher quality assets because they've kind of showed those off in screenshots and everything. So it's kind of a given that they're going to probably do that. But yes, I could see them later on coming out with a Red Dead Redemption 2 with an improved version of the engine that they're running right now. But I think it's going to be Grand Theft Auto 5. And I would probably buy it again.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
I'll probably buy it for the first time. Yay. Because I knew they'd release it on PlayStation 4 eventually. They just have to, right? All right.
I think we'll see that at E3. That announcement will happen.
We'll see. Jason.
I'm fairly certain I remember hearing this. If not, it certainly was news last year, July specifically. But, yet again, Square Enix is considering the expansion of Dragon Quest X to overseas markets. Says David Gibson, Square Enix is considering expansion of Dragon Quest X to overseas market. Says its profit guidance range is reasonable. Square thinks that if they bring it here, enough of their loyal fans could buy it to presumably at least break even and hopefully actually make a profit. Great for those fans that haven't already imported it. That, I guess consoles are still rather heavily region locked, but it would be a nice thing to continue to see the series stateside.
These guys keep fucking teasing me. Like, I really want to play Dragon Quest X, although just what an MMO fan needs when I'm whiffly waffling between 14 and Warcraft. Now let's tempt me with Dragon Quest X. So maybe it's not the best idea.
This game came out like early last year, right?
It's been a while. It was out on the Wii originally. In Japan,
makes it even before 2012 because Wii U was.
No, it was like right before the Wii U came out when it came out in Japan originally. So like that's how long we haven't had it. So, I mean, you never know. That could be one of Nintendo's little surprises, something to bolster because they did have a version specific for the Wii U. So they could always bring that over to the US, and I would bet Nintendo's probably lobbying them hard for it. It would be their answer to like Elder Scrolls Online or Final Fantasy 14. It would be something that would be exclusive to Nintendo Wii U. But I don't know.
Show your support. Let them know you care.
That's right. All right, you can let us know you care by sending us an email. Every week, you guys send us emails to participate at orangeloungeradio.com. And Dark Sakura, she dives into the mailbag head first and, catches some letters in her floofy dress that she has.
Bitch, I might.
And she picks...
Is big enough to just kind of let them all pile.
Just kind of scoops them up and picks them up.
This skirt really could be made into maybe about 3 total skirts.
But I love it.
And
it's
have
cute.
room.
I love it. It's
I'll
cute.
vouch for that.
So, Dark Sakura, why don't you pull out some emails and read them for us here on air?
This one has been labeled Skeezy Silly Question of the Week. What's up, everybody, except Loki? So much Pokemon on last... Rude, totally rude. So much,
hilarious.
So much Pokemon on last week's show that my question was pretty damn relevant. Nice!
Oh, because Loki refused to answer. Remember? He asked a question about Pokemon, and Loki was like...
Anyway.
What about Pokemon?
Exactly. I don't know. It was like, if you could make a Pokemon, what would you make? And you were
Bitch,
like...
I'm trying to read.
That's a dumb question.
Hearts.
Yes, sorry.
Take yourselves back to the old days when everybody thought the world was flat. Yes, Rob. Time to bust out the knickers and bifocals. Lol. Would you have traveled the great journey to find out for yourselves? How close to the imaginary edge would you get? Who the hell would captain the OLR ship, and why the heck did we make him or her captain? Would you go discover the world? I'd probably... Actually, if I were going to go backwards in my ancestry, I'd probably be a court lady in France. Just saying. If it was, and I don't want it to be in France when some people were getting their heads chopped off because that time sucked.
This might be a little too pop culture heavy for some people, but if I were to travel the world to see if it's flat or not, if I really believed that it was flat, I would want my co-pilot or my co-captain or whoever to be Sherry Shepard because she believes it's flat too. So there you go. Maybe we'll find it together.
I don't get it.
People actually didn't think the world was flat, by the way, back then, because the horizon line was curved. They just didn't know what was out there.
Yeah, the unknown, the great unknown. It's just like us beyond certain ends of our universe. How big is the universe? Big. That's all we know.
Somebody tell Loki that he needs to use his frickin' imagination and create himself a Pokemon. Love you guys. EA Skeezy.
So wait, what did the ultimate question end up being in there?
What would we do?
What would we do with
if we were given the option to explore the world?
To explore the world.
To discover what the world is like.
Can I just go back to Hawaii for a little while? That would be kind of awesome.
I would like to discover my bed where my naps are.
Actually, you know what? Who wouldn't want to travel? And I would like to do more traveling around the world. I really would.
I'd like to get paid to travel. If someone wants to pay me to travel, I'll do it.
A travel series podcast or something?
Heck yeah.
It'd be fun.
Gaming around the world.
No, it'll be called Jamie Judges Shit Around the World.
Gaming around the world. Hey, you know what?
Jamie judges the world.
There's a lot of people that don't realize, especially when we talked about how the Wii is, not the Wii, but Nintendo is putting something out that's probably like the Wii into countries that aren't as heavily saturated with gaming consoles like we have here in other countries. I think it actually would be pretty interesting to see how gaming really is perceived in other countries.
See how they're still playing the Master System in Brazil?
And we have ActDeft that calls in sometimes to tell us how things are different in Mexico, and there's some things that we take for
Where are
granted.
Swedes?
Yeah, we had Ake Ripper from Sweden. He hasn't listened in a while, I don't think. But
Swedes call next week.
And then we have our guy from Belgium that emails us once in a while. We love the international
We have Syl.
folks. And Syl.
We love
Can't
Syl.
forget Syl.
Syl is absolutely gorgeous. Did you see her picture? She's so
do.
gorgeous. I have a girl crush on Syl.
I have a girl crush
do.
on Syl, too. All right. Anyhow.
Oh, yeah, we had another email. Thank you, EA Skeezy. You have a great name, but not as great as Awesome Unicorn. Or Serious Turtle.
Or, oh, God, now I forget the name. Oh, well. Never mind. Sorry. Derailed.
Sorry, whoever's name he can't
Sorry,
remember.
whoever's name I can't remember.
Dark Sakura.
Nasty Canasta. That was it.
Nasty Canasta.
Nasty
That one's
Canasta.
great. So this one's subject is Takata and Rogue number 3. I see what you did there. Musical jokes. I realized time was limited for last week's Classic Game of the Week, but I would have liked to hear more about the games directly inspired by Rogue, including Chunsoft's Mystery Dungeon series or Fatal Labyrinth on the Genesis, although not necessarily action roguelikes. Also, per your discussion of Holst with Christopher Tin, do you agree that Airship's theme from Super Mario 3 and perhaps the March of the Meanies from Yellow Submarine has strong influence from Mars Bringer of War? Oh, that is a good point.
I could actually, with the Mario 3 Warship theme, oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I can totally hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cue that up sometime. Because and I'm actually running through. I think that it really does have that the whole, at least the beat to it and the sort of crescendo that the background music makes. I'm wondering if any of the people in the chat room have ever heard Mars Bringer of War, and if you haven't, why not? Yeah.
Can you imagine? This would have been a great question for Christopher Tin. We'll have to get him back. But what kind of music would Christopher Tin have made on the NES? Where you're so limited. It's really amazing what these game programmers back then were able to do.
Have we had the NES sound chip discussion?
Between the
Probably.
Famicom disc and the...
No, just literally the limitations of the Famicom of the NES sound chip. By
the way, for comparison, Rob, you should pull up Mars Bringer of War.
While he does
Thank you.
that, I'm extrapolating a little bit from the bit of chiptune composition software that I've seen, but an NES has 4 channels: 2 wave, 1 pulse, 1 noise. Noise is usually sound effects, basic crashes. The wave channels actually have a fair amount of extensibility in them. And then the pulse channel, I've actually kind of forgotten. But 4 channels to be able to play any music that the game has and any and all sound effects. That's why classic games, more often than not, some sound effects just fail to fire because there wasn't, whatever the sound effects being stacked couldn't play at the same time.
Yeah.
Here's Mars Bringer of War, or at least a YouTube labeled as such, so I'm going to hope it's right.
Yeah.
Can't really hear the drum in the back. It's very faint, kind of, but you can definitely hear the big swelling. And yeah, it's keep in mind, this is like 30 seconds out of a 7-minute piece. And as Bobby says in the chat, content ID strike number 3, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Hell, that's 5. We're doomed.
We're doomed. Oh, now we'll never make that nickel off the 12 views we get of this show on YouTube.
We're spreading culture. They should be.
We brought doom upon ourselves.
I do want to say, isn't by now the works of Holst in the public domain?
You'd think.
It doesn't matter. Somebody is claiming the rights as their own.
Yeah, if some troll claims the rights, it's not going to matter at the end of the day. Because the YouTube side's on their side.
Fuck them with something hard and sandpapery.
Exactly.
P.S. What would you say to be the Team Fortress of Unreal Tournament? What would I say to be the Team Fortress of Unreal Tournament?
Like a game?
I would say, can I go to bed? Because I don't play either.
So they're saying the Team Fortress of Unreal Tournament. They're saying from Half-Life and its type of standard kills deathmatching, what Unreal Tournament game mod would be cartoonish, exaggerated. Honestly, I'm going to say that the to-be-released Unreal Tournament is going to be the Team Fortress of Unreal Tournament because somebody is going to bring that style of game to it with the announcements of the modability that we covered last week or 2 weeks ago.
I'm going to be honest. I agree with Act Deft in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com. The Team Fortress of Unreal Tournament is Team Fortress. I'm kind of on that page. I think.
Yeah.
Unreal will get something very good.
Like I realized Team Fortress was born of Quake originally, but I mean, anyway. All right, that's it for emails?
That's it.
Well, the only 2 emails.
Yep.
You can do better than that, people. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com. You know, it is a show where every gamer has a voice, but only if you use it. So send us more emails. All right, this is a good time for us to get a little bit ranty in a segment we call the FUs of the Week.
Oh, this is bad. Here is justice. Here is punishment. This is fucked up.
F you to the people in your neighborhood who don't use their turn signals because they're buttholes. Like stinky, crusty buttholes.
Ew.
With a couple of hemorrhoids.
You're weird.
Yeah, but that's how I feel about them. F you to being warm. Yeah, I'm done.
I turned on the AC.
It's okay. I think I'm still just kind of out of it.
Okay. Loki.
I don't know. I just F you to my feet hurting. I don't know why.
My FU of the week goes to the fact that Loki gave me his French fries. Actually, I'm very thankful that Loki gave me his French fries. Don't get me wrong, but my FU goes to the fact that I ate them all. I ate them all.
FU to the fries and not the Loki.
They were delicious. Yeah, exactly.
But in and out.
FU to myself for not showing restraint is what it really is, because I need to be showing a little more
I
restraint.
totally showed restraint with my 4x4 with soda and fries and a milkshake.
E3's coming up. I gotta lose 25 in a week.
Do you realize they will not do more than a 4x4 anymore? Because I wanted more than a 4x4, and it would only do a 4x4.
I thought they would if they were too busy or they do it at certain times. I thought 7x7 was as high as you could go.
Oh, maybe. Well, they said they won't do more than a 4x4.
What'd you ask for?
It's actually a 5x5. I wanted to do like 6x6, but I thought that'd be too much.
Might be a little much. Oh my god, that's too much. Oh my god.
Their patties are really small. Like their double is just like it's nothing.
I have a single hamburger when I go to In-N-Out, and that is plenty. There's so much butter on that fucking thing. It's like, oh my god. Anyway,
FU to so much butter.
Huh?
In-N-Out burgers.
I think you could get them to cook it without the butter.
Jason, did you give an FU?
I did not.
All right.
Thank you for considering me.
Once in a while, I do.
Yeah. I guess since this is the only part of the show where it's relevant, FU to the Ford Focus. I don't remember what year it is, but whenever I don't have my own car accessible, I use Zipcar to get up here to Sacramento from San Francisco. And I try out new cars. I try out different cars because I'm curious. I'll be in the market again for one eventually. And my car is 2006, so why not see what's changed in the last couple years shy of a decade? There's no switch for locking and unlocking the car doors in the car that I can tell. I'm assuming, unlike my Civic that has the button on the key and doesn't work if the engine in, you can only use the buttons on the key. Presumably, it works when the car is started. As Rob, when we were on our way to Scandia, Rob was living the reclined life the whole way because we couldn't find the handle.
What the hell was that?
It's not on the floor on the bottom seat. It's on the back, on the side of the back seat.
The Ford Focus, because I had a Ford Focus. I believe that the lock mechanism is just if you lock the driver's side door.
But there's not even like a manual tab either. I can find nothing involving the locks in that car besides on the key.
Really?
It's weird.
I had a 2001, so.
This is like,
or 2000. It was like
This is 2013 or something like that. It's also a hatchback, and
it's also a Ford
variations
Focus. So
yes.
yeah.
And most of all, I never had a meaningful problem with sync before nowadays. Microsoft, actually, it was just sync. Microsoft kind of distanced themselves. F you to sync. It's fucking frustrating.
You'll notice the music stopped 5 minutes ago, Jason.
Yeah. Excuse me.
You have a laundry list you've built up over the past few weeks.
I also have laundry, so my brain's just in that mode right now.
Fair enough. All right.
I'm done, Rob.
We just have a couple more stories for you guys. Then we're going to open up the phones and take calls at 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, orangeloungeradio. And if you want to be on the show, you better call quick because we just hit 9 o'clock Pacific and midnight on the East Coast, so we're not going to go all night.
I'm sorry my FU ran so long.
I know, right? All right, let's get through a couple more stories here quick. Loki.
All right. So this is kind of neat. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and this Indiegogo campaign is for an interactive toothbrush. It's a video game toothbrush, and
Is it a Decision Mark Pro?
It's called Grush. I don't know what the fuck that's. I guess Game Brush.
Got my joke.
Gruel.
You got my joke.
No.
The Citadel DLC.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I
get it now.
They're seeking, like I said, funding on Indiegogo. It's, I guess, the idea of some guy that used to be an exec at EA. And what it is it has a 3D accelerometer built into the toothbrush and a gyroscope. And apparently, with it sends a signal to a mobile phone. So it's kind of a peripheral for like an iPod or something like that. And it includes, a case that you can hang on your mirror that's waterproof. And they kind of show some concepts of it. And it's totally built in Unity, the little thing that they designed, and kind of derpy looking. But I think it's cool. Whatever gets you to incentivize kids to brush their teeth, I guess, would be good. But I haven't even seen what exactly they're looking, how much funding they need for this thing. Let's find out. Well, they were
$400,000.
They were seeking $50,000, and they just made it. With 3 hours left. They're just over that. So,
Congrats.
Yeah. So that's kind of neat, I guess. And you can still get in on the action if you're listening live. But honestly, it looks kind of derpy.
I remember games like in the 80s that would teach you like hygiene things like brushing teeth. Like there was a game called Plaque Attack where you had to like floss on Commodore 64.
I fucking loved Plaque Attack.
Right?
You had to shoot down the candy canes and chocolate things.
I think we're mixing two games because there was one on Atari. I think that was Plaque Attack. But there was one on Commodore 64 as well that was like another one. Like,
and they also have a parental dashboard where you can see which kid, brushed their teeth and which kid didn't. So you can stalk them and go, fucking David hasn't brushed his teeth. Charles, though, is awesome. David, though, he's going to get grounded.
He's an unhygienic motherfucker.
That's right.
Unhygienic motherfucker. That should be the exact phrasing
you get
on there.
You get that gold star in the Comic Sans font that says unhygienic motherfucker. All right. Anyhow. I know a few people at anime cons. I'd put that on.
And I love... and this is
not
most
Ranma.
of them?
Not
You mean
Ranma.
most
I love
of them?
Ranma.
And this is the best. They have like, that goes down the list with all the different like press quotes and stuff like that. They have like stuff like, this is a brilliant way to show one where to brush your teeth while providing fun. And then Kotaku's, here's the next gen gaming toothbrush. That's like the fucking most useless phrase I've ever seen. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, what was the previous gen gaming toothbrush? There wasn't one.
All right. Well, speaking of just crazy new devices, there's something called Clever Pet. And we end tonight talking about Clever Pet, which is producing a game device for dogs. Yes, the Clever Pet is a dog game console. It is supposed to engage and educate dogs by challenging dogs with puzzles and rewarding treats if successful. Oh, this could be cruel. It's 3 touch-sensitive light-up pads that sit at the front of the console, and the dog can use the paws or the nose to interact with them. Clever Pet has algorithms so you can change the difficulty of the puzzles. Owners can track your dog's progress. One of the games is like a DDR game that has the dog touch pads as they light up in a particular order. The device can hold as much dog food as a standard dog bowl, and it all runs on a system known as Spark Core, and you can build custom software for it. It was a 34-day Kickstarter campaign. The funding has already reached its $100,000 goal. The Clever Pet will be $279. Meanwhile, Amplitude's probably not going to make its goal, but the Clever Pet made its goal.
For the record, people are saying they should do ones for cats. They've already made video games for cats.
Yeah, on iPad, right?
On iOS.
Frisky has some... games that they put on there.
I haven't even tried to see if Midna will play them yet. I'm afraid because she's the claw queen.
I mean, it's a neat idea. I just hope no one actually uses it as their primary feeding device for their animals because they will die.
I shouldn't laugh at that. I'm sorry.
They will not live. They will be dead.
Pochikawa in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com says, video game dog sitter? It sounds like it kind of... I can entertain the dog while I'm away. Doggy.
Well, people do that with their children. Why not?
And Doggy, I'm going away for a week, and if you can figure out this video game, you'll get to eat. If not, good luck.
And I'm going to tell you this much, just having had pets before, they're going to lose interest in this immediately.
All right, let's go to the phones. It's that time. 1-877-GAME-OLR or username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, if you want to give us a call. And look at that, the Skype line already lighting up with calls. So let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
It is the one and only Ravens Dolphin.
Ravens Dolphin. Long time no speak, buddy. Always good to hear from you. What's up?
Do you see me?
Yeah, I see you. And it's so, don't take this the wrong way, but it's so interesting to me to see you get older. Because I remember, no. Okay, look, I'm an old motherfucker, Ravens Dolphin. Let's get that out of the way. But you listened to this show back in 2006 and stuff, and I remember you calling into the show then. You were a lot younger, so I'm watching you become a man before my eyes, Ravens Dolphin.
You want to know something sad?
What?
I just turned 27.
Christ. And how old were you when you first heard OLR?
I swear I was 19.
Oh my god. Oh my god!
And I was listening to you on PSP Drive, downloading it on my PSP. Now I listen to you on your iPhone Live. I was like, holy crap, this is the future.
He couldn't even drink, and now he's 27.
I couldn't drink the first time I was on the show.
Oh god,
I'm so sad
old.
too.
All right.
Oh, I wanted to show you my Yoshi 3DS and then get to the topic at hand.
That is a cute little 3DS. I love it. If I had the webcam, I'd show you my Zelda one, which is better.
Oh, I have that one as well.
What? Wait a minute. What do you
He's
need?
as cool as Shane rocking the
I know.
dual
What do you need
3DS
multiple
XL.
3DSs for? At least Shane can say he worked for Nintendo at one point. What's your excuse?
It was cute and I needed it. But
Okay.
The correct answer.
Valid response. I stand corrected. Sorry.
but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the weight of the Twitch as we know it.
Oh yes.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but I got into the Let's Play begrudgingly. Begrudgingly got into it. I'm not a big fan of it. I think a lot of people just scream a lot and just say horrible things, but here I am, and I've been streaming on other sites and all that stuff. I think it's a very good idea for Twitch to go with YouTube, the big site that that people generate money and ads. Machinima's there. All these big sites are there, so they're going to be, they're going to meld these two together. And Twitch is all about the games. And YouTube is all about the personalities. So now you're going to have the games and the personalities.
What about the whole copyright thing that a lot of us are hung up on, including myself, a little bit? I mean, I don't.
No, I totally agree.
I'm not sitting here going, the sky is falling, I'm deleting my Twitch account. Oh, I'll probably do streaming later tonight. But it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, God damn it, don't fuck this up. Do not fuck this up, Google.
Yeah. I for them, it's like they just started their live thing. So, and Twitch owns 40% of the market. So for them, it's like, we need to do something. We need to address the gaming market that they have. I just think buying Twitch will give them the absolute advantage over anything. Ustream be damned. Everyone else can go die.
Do you worry that it could start this whole antitrust thing? I don't know. I don't know if that carries a lot of weight, but
there's
YouTube's
so many companies being bought right now.
Yeah.
I mean, AT&T with Dish Network, DirecTV. It's but everyone's getting bought.
But there wouldn't be antitrust in that situation because there is still a huge satellite competitor. Although, I don't know. Well, it's tricky because Comcast just bought a huge, so I don't know.
Time Warner. It's tricky.
Though.
You know what's interesting, though? What's interesting, though, is that we talk about these big companies get bigger and they get bigger and they get bigger. What's ever going to happen? But it does seem like then this new company, Comcast didn't exist 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
There will always be innovation, as we learned with Oculus Rift. There always will be someone out there. It just seemed like it's either they're going to be bought up or nurtured enough to be bought. That's what it looks like.
That's a very good point. And Rama reminds us the Comcast Time Warner thing isn't final. Well, then we'll see. We'll see.
Well, that's right now. The Twitch thing is not final, but it will probably come out. I mean, they're probably, YouTube probably needs it for their infrastructure, for their video stuff. They're probably betting hard on it.
True. I'm curious to see technologically what might come of this. It could be a very neat thing, but again, I really hope the principles that guide it don't screw it up. We're all a little nervous about that.
No, I agree. As not a prominent Let's Player, but someone that watches the space.
Yeah. Because
now I watch the space. Before I used to do the podcast thing, and I still do, but the Let's Plays scare me because the people on there scare me. Because
wait a minute, I'm on there sometime. Well, I'm not.
Yeah, well, you do good work, and I seen you on there go like, "Hi, I'm Rob Roberts. I'm playing Donkey Kong 3." I watched a few things.
Thank you.
I know. And like you say, you believe in the games, but some of these people are looking for a paycheck. They're like, "Oh man, fuck you, Nintendo. Fuck you, Nintendo. Oh, yeah. It belongs in the trash."
I don't like to get super duper negative. I mean, sometimes I get a little. I think there's a difference between negative and sassy. I'll get a little sassy, but I don't like to get just full on negative.
There's a difference between insulting and criticism.
Well, as my mother RuPaul says, and this is something that we should all live by: throwing shade takes creativity. Being a bitch takes none. So
there's a lot of bitches out there.
Ain't that the truth? All right.
You ain't one of them.
What's that?
You ain't one of them.
No, I try
you throw
not
shade.
to. I try not to. But and I don't like. I think some people basically turn into virtual panhandlers with that stuff. Like it's always like pay me, and I don't know. I don't like to play that game. You know what I mean?
One last thing. I know this is running a little long.
Yeah.
For me, I want to respect the game because I know that you guys do your work. We wouldn't be here without the game or the games.
That is very true.
That's where I come from. I have to respect where it came from.
That is very true. It is about the games. Go play the games and don't be a dick. Not that I'm saying you're a dick, Ravensdolphin. You're a fine young man who's grown up before my eyes.
Exactly.
All right, Ravensdolphin. Take care, buddy. Thanks so much for calling the show.
Oh, you're welcome. I just want to shed some light.
All right, sounds good. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Always good to hear from that kid.
For the record, Comcast was founded in 1963.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I had no idea they were that old. Well, look at Facebook. Yeah. Okay? Facebook.
2004.
Oh, my God. The guy who invented it's only 30, so it isn't that old. Oh, anyway. Let's go to the phones. We have another call coming in. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey, this is ActDeft.
Hey, ActDeft. What's up, buddy?
Well, remember last week that I talked that I didn't have Kirby Triple Deluxe because it got lost in the mail?
You sound a little down. What happened?
No, I'm actually happy because First let me tell you a story. I contacted Amazon on Thursday to talk about my lost game, and Amazon was pretty quick. The customer representative that spoke to me pretty much helped me in like less than 5 minutes. So it all got fixed, and by Friday afternoon, my copy of Triple Deluxe got delivered.
Jesus.
It
turnaround.
got here in a day. Though I had to pick it up until Saturday because my friend who helps me with shipping and all that goes to pick it up the next day. So yeah, but basically I got Triple Deluxe now, and I have played it, and I love it.
Hooray! Does it do justice to your favorite video game mascot?
Yes, it's pretty much your Kirby, your typical Kirby. You suck enemies, and you either suck them out or copy their abilities. This is pretty much the main gist of it, but it does have the Hypernova ability now that makes you pretty much suck everything, and it's pretty much literal.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. How's the music in the game? Because I'll tell you what, the thing I always remember about Kirby is the freaking infectious soundtracks to those games. Oh my gosh.
Superstar, Kirby Superstar still has an absolutely amazing soundtrack that I adore to this day.
So how's the music?
The music is fantastic. It's pretty much even though it doesn't have that many new tracks, though some are new. It has a really great soundtrack that is a staple from all the Kirby series. And it's something I have to thank for if I'm into music, video game music, because Kirby, it's pretty much the game that pretty much brought me into it. So yeah.
So what do you look forward to now? Now that you've got Kirby, is in your possession and you're playing through it. What do you have to look forward to now at this point? Like at E3 this year, what do you hoping Nintendo's going to do?
Well, first of all, Mario Kart 8. It's I also have it pre-ordered, so hopefully we can look forward to that.
Yes, and to all the people asking if there will be something with VOG playing, of course there's going to be. I don't know if they're going to have the leagues like they had on Mario Kart 7, but we'll try to take advantage of whatever systems they offer, and absolutely we'll do like a VOG night or something. So just absolutely that will be a thing.
Yeah, definitely. That should be a thing. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Though for E3, hopefully for at least from Nintendo, I hope that there's some of the old franchises back, like Star Fox and F-Zero. That's the main too. I can think of. Other than your typical games that we are going to get, like Zelda and a new Mario and all that.
Right.
But yeah, it's those are the two that come to mind. Even though I do have some old classics like Uni Racers that nobody remembers, but me.
I love that game.
I own a copy of that game, and it's kind of interesting that I do, considering the Disney lawsuit or something like that caused the game to only have like. It was either 30,000 or 300,000 copies or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's undersold, and it was a pretty fantastic game. It was a pretty fun game, and it's one of the games I really expect appear sometime on Virtual Console, or at least a sequel, maybe on the 3DS or something like that. But yeah, it was the Tony Hawk before the Tony Hawk games. Basically, it was fun.
Very true. Yeah, I love that game. It's great. Yeah, I'd love to see Nintendo try to go to the vault and get another great franchise. Like when they did Sin and Punishment 2 on the Wii, that was a pleasant surprise. Unfortunately, the game I don't think sold as well as they'd hoped, but it was still a pleasant surprise, and maybe they'll try it again with something different. But we do know there is a lot coming out from Nintendo this year. I mean, as much as the Wii U's having its issues, those of us that did plunk down the money for one, we got Bayonetta 2, we've got the Monolith Soft game, the X or whatever it ends up being. Obviously there will be a Zelda in the cards at some point with Mario Kart 8. There's still a lot of stuff to get excited about on Wii U. So, it's not all bad news.
Yeah, there's tons of games that are coming out from Nintendo, and especially for the Wii U. So hopefully it will get better. And as for Xbox One and probably PlayStation 4, though PlayStation 4 right now probably I don't have anything to look forward to, or at least that I can think of. But for Xbox One, Forza Horizon 2, that's basically it.
Yeah, that's probably something that's going to make me get an Xbox One as well, as I've been talking about the whole on the fence thing. And it really seems like as we start to get to the end of the year, Microsoft's just going to have the lineup I can't say no to. All right, anyway, ActDeft, I got to let you go to try and get at least one more call before we finish up tonight. But thank you so much for the call, buddy. And I'm glad to hear you got your game.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. Anytime. Bye. All right, glad to hear he got his game. That's great that he got the great customer service, and that's, what we should expect, that they get that game out to him. Silly that it got all held up. We'll try to fit in one more call if anybody else wants to call us. 1-877-GAME-OLR or a username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio.
Uniracers was sued by, should I say DMA Design, was sued by Pixar, not Disney, which was a separate company, obviously, at the time in the early 90s, and I was right, 300,000. You mentioned Zuckerberg right before his call, and it's kind of funny. I was talking with a friend of mine a week or two ago, and he mentioned, old quotes, 640K of memory ought to be good enough for anyone. I countered with the fact that in 2002 or something like that, Bill Gates said spam was going to be solved in 3 years. Yeah, tell me about it.
Whoops.
Email spam specifically was the context, but he mentioned that Zuckerberg had this quote to never... if you want to be an upstart, interesting, if you want to make a good product, do not take advice from anyone over 30. Zuckerberg's 30 years old. And it's funny, in context, rather in hindsight, it's funny because of Poke. Poke versus... It wasn't Snapchat. Wasn't there some other third party, really, really absurdly simplistic thing that you just kind of... poked someone about, and I don't know. Facebook has made very, very good, very, very interesting purchases in the realm of Instagram and Oculus, and I'm sure there's another one that I'm forgetting. But that quote to be used against him now that he's reached that magical age is kind of hilarious to think about, and we'll see what happens with Facebook in the next, I don't know, however long it's still around and relevant.
Well, thank God I didn't make a statement like that when I first started doing OLR, right? All right, I'm still waiting to see if we get any calls on the Skype line at Orange Lounge Radio, and Dark Tasuya in chat telling us that the 877 number doesn't seem to work all of a sudden, so I don't know what's up with that. So we may not be able to take phone calls tonight, so sorry about that, guys. But we can still get your calls on Skype at Orange Lounge Radio, all one word. Meanwhile, Loki, is there any last-minute stories?
There's one. It's apparently Target doing a triple trade-in deal thing where they give you triple value for whatever you trade in, which leads to some wonderful ways if one were to exploit said thing. For example, you could trade in your copy of Titanfall, get $54, and then rebuy it for $40. Repeat forever.
Oh, boy.
And it's only going on through this week, from the 18th through, I forget the date was. But, yeah, so you may want to, if you're looking to trade in some games, and not necessarily, just, selling or, planning on exploiting everything, it might be a good idea just to go check out Target and see what they'll give you for them. That's it.
All right.
And it's through the 24th, so the 18th through the 24th.
I didn't see any particular tweets, unfortunately, either.
You know what it is? I think that should actually fix things a little bit there. You know what it is? I had to disable the phone number during the week, and I forgot to enable it before the show tonight because we get all these freaking spam calls on the line. So, but it should be open now. Oh, did it just get through for you?
That was the direct line. I'm actually going to test the toll
Yeah,
free.
that was my bad. Sorry about that. But
Jeez, Rob.
Oh my God,
fax spam and all that other
oh
shit.
my
I see
God,
it
we get
too.
so much of that stupid fax spam and stuff. So I just shut it off because if they get enough busy signals, maybe they'll, stop wasting the money on calling
they're
us.
robots. You think they would really?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. All right. Well, since we are out, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because we aren't really getting any. We aren't getting any other calls. Oh no, is this you? No, this is probably Dark Tetsuya. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Oh, hey, it's DT.
Hey, was I right or was I right? There, I fixed the phone just for you, buddy. What's up, buddy?
So apparently, Dungeon Fighter Online reopened in the U.S.
Yes, I saw this, and we didn't fit it in the show roll, but I'm glad you called in to talk about it. I know you were excited about this. What's going on with the Dungeon Fighter?
Yeah, I guess, who was that? Neopal?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they decided to reopen the game in the U.S. They're doing an alpha test right about now.
Are you checking it out, or?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
It was a little rough going at first, but I think they got all the bugs worked out for the most part.
Well, alphas usually are a little bit challenging, but I'm glad to hear they're working on it. So you were a fan of the original, and then it did kind of disappear, didn't it? So
yeah.
Are they talking about any ways to improve it or make it different, or are they just focused on bringing the game back as it was right now?
I think they're just leaving it as it is for the moment, but I'm sure there'll probably be a beta, maybe some new features down the line.
Awesome. That'd be awesome. Well, what else have you been playing lately?
Oh, what is that? On Epic, on Wii U.
Oh, yeah. What do you think of that?
Oh, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like Metroidvania with a little bit of World of Warcraft or Diablo-type elements.
I think that's on my Steam wish list. I think I've seen that one, and I've heard about that, and that's definitely a game I want to get. I did not realize it's on Wii U, but that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. I might have to check that out. You know how much that is? Probably about $11.99 or $14.99?
$10.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty darn good deal. I'll have to check that out.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, DT, well, anything else on your mind tonight?
No, that's it.
All right, well, check out the Revival guys at Dungeon Fighter Online because, DT, when he loves a game, he really loves a game, like La Mulana or something, so he really believes in it. So, all right, so check it out, guys. Well, thanks for calling, DT. I'm glad we could fix the phone for you.
Yep.
All right, take care, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right, bye. All right, that is going to do it for another episode of OLR. See, now I can go in, and now I'm going to disable the calls because I don't want the freaking fax spam this week. Because every time they leave a voicemail, I get an email, and it gets really annoying.
And you hit play, and if your headphones are up very loud, you scream, much like the sound that's coming over the... Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not having that. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for listening to another episode of Orange Lounge Radio. We are going to go around and wrap it up, but as I always say, if you like what you hear here at Orange Lounge Radio, tell a friend or two about the show. Help spread the word about Orange Lounge Radio, because... we don't have a huge site corporate backing us. We literally have built this from the ground up over the past 12 years. So, your support means the world to us. So, that's that. Jason, thanks for being here tonight.
As always.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I don't know if are you back next week or
nope,
not for
next
2 weeks?
week, neither, actually. This wraps it up, possibly.
Till
actually,
E3, right?
Because we were talking about whether I'm going to go home for a week and come back and kill 2 weekends, which sounds like a terrible idea.
Good
but
luck with that,
I'm
Drive.
crazy enough with it. I'm crazy enough to do it.
In a good way.
Next week is Fanime. My DJ set is technically Sunday at midnight, the actual Saturday night's events in the J.
Right, it's Memorial Day
something
next
like
weekend.
That. Yup.
Forgot. That's
Yup.
awesome.
Be a good time. It was last year, and I'm looking forward to it again this year.
Great.
Scandia had... I just realized I didn't mention this. When Rob played Poppin', I played Poppin', we looked over, and there was somebody playing 2DX with headphones on. I remember friends asking me a decade ago if the 2DX machine, if I've ever seen a 2DX machine with a headphone port, and because the old school 6-style videos of not Yasu, that was a DDR guy. Oh man, I forgot his name. All of the old 2DX like Perfect Player. Lisu?
None of our listeners are going to know these people.
I think
say
so.
That, but at any rate, the people the people that made these Amazeballs 2DX videos,
The Tetsujin
yeah,
videos.
Thank you, Tatsujin videos. You could see a headphone cable some of the time. I'm assuming that was a custom job to make it easier on them, but we saw someone playing 2DX with a headphone port on, or with headphones on, and I kind of looked under the machine and saw that there was a little tiny mixer adapter under there. I tried it for myself, and my headphone cable was much too short, so I didn't get to try it out firsthand. But it was nice. It looked nice. It's hopefully something that a lot of other machines I play on from now on have.
All right. Any quick final thoughts for our listeners tonight?
No.
All right. Fair enough.
I think that was my final thought. Scandia is amazing. And I didn't even play Technica, but the
Next
machines worked out well.
Yeah, they were in very good condition. My final thought tonight is I think I am going to check out that on Epic game after the show. Another listener recommendation success story. There you go. Dark Sakura.
No, I'm not saying anything. Except if someone wants to sell me a fairly recent Mac Mini for $100, I'll buy it.
Girl, I gave you a Mac laptop.
Yeah, that's 10 years old.
Well,
and won't run crap.
Well,
it runs Tiger, Rob.
You could get Linux on it. All right.
Not really.
Last but not least, Loki, your final thought tonight.
Trying to figure out how to save these triangles.
Triangle man.
By the way, thank you.
What?
Because I actually still use it. I'm learning Terminal.
You're welcome.
I'm actually using it to practice terminal commands.
That's fine. I don't. My other laptop, I might get rid of that one too. So we'll see. So I didn't hear Shane come home. Shane's here. Shane's been here for a while. I didn't even hear him come in.
I heard him when I was in the bathroom.
Creepy.
I was coming out of the bathroom.
How did you, Shane? Come here. We're still live. Shane, did you have a lot to drink today? Shane went to Grandpa's birthday party, just so you know, which I was unable to go to.
So he's making the drive that I'm about to drive.
I had like 7 sangrias.
I hope you were safe to drive,
you look
young
like
man.
You need a nap.
Yeah, he needs a nap. All right.
Go nap.
That's it. We all need a nap. Go nap. You earned it, everybody. Have a good night.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or Vog Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.